93DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports 56 Middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Well, the good news is it is Friday. Welcome into Sports 56 Middays. The bad news is I don't have much of a voice. Little laryngitis. Apologies right off the bat. It'll be a little rough for the next 3 hours, but I'll tell you what, we got a lot to talk about, a lot of great topics, a lot of great guests. Wrapping up what has been a tremendous week with all our coverage of SEC Media Days. And, of course, the big story that came out of the SEC Media Days involving two teams from the Big 12, Oklahoma and Texas. What will the fallout be? Where are they after last night's meeting of athletic directors and power brokers in the Big 12, minus the Oklahoma and Texas powers? Where do we stand with the University of Memphis and moving forward in other conferences as the landscape of collegiate sports could really, really change if this comes to fruition? And there are many that believe it's a mere formality. Others think not so fast, my friend. We will discuss that on the program today. We will be joined at 11:30 by Ben Johnson. He's the skipper of the Memphis Redbirds, who have rattled off 12 straight wins to set a franchise record. This was a team that was 15 games below 500. They won last night in Louisville 3-0. A 12-game winning streak, the longest again in history. The 11-game winning streak that they previously had as their record breaker was done in 2017. So Ben Johnson and the Redbirds are doing something right, and he'll join us at 11:30. At 12:05, our friend Parker Fleming from Grizzly Bear Blues. He's their associate editor and the podcast host of The Long View, which covers the Grizzlies. The NBA draft will be next Thursday. The Grizzlies stand at number 17 as far as the 17th pick in the first round, and they have a second-round pick as well. What will they do? Will they move up? Will they move down? Will they take that pick at 17? And if so, who will it be? We will talk to Parker about the options for the Grizzlies, which is all, of course, speculation right now, but we'll talk about some of the top prospects that could be available at 17, and then other moves that the Grizzlies will subsequently have to make here in the offseason, including the big decision about Justice Winslow. So Parker Fleming at 12:05, and then at 12:30, it's 10 in a row. The game show that has swept the nation. Give you a chance to win a terrific prize package. We have a tremendous story involving Memphis Tigers basketball that we'll get into. Dabo Swinney continues to say things that just blow your mind, and you walk away scratching your head. Also, we have some college football news to get into other than the big news from SEC Media Days. And the Summer Olympic Games officially underway, although they started a couple of days ago. Opening ceremonies took place just hours ago. Plus, the Cleveland Indians have announced their new nickname starting next season, and we will talk about that as well here on the program. You're always welcome to be a part of the show. You can text in at 360-8255. During open segments, call us at 9055. If you elect not to, no big deal. Just kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. Eli, how are you today?
I am fabulous. Heck, it's Friday. You got to be fabulous. It's a beautiful Friday.
Well, you sound a lot better than me.
We also have they've just released the media poll from SEC Media Days with the order of finish and the all SEC teams as picked by the media down in Hoover this week. And as usual, there were some people with some weird votes as far as the divisions are concerned.
Even with probably, half the normal amount of media members that are there on a given year, there's still some weirdos out there.
Yeah, let's see. It looks like there was 134 people that turned in ballots. In the East, no surprise, Georgia did get the nod with 124 first-place votes and 923 points. Florida was second. No surprise there. 7 first-place votes. Kentucky, third in the media poll in the East. Got 2 first-place votes. Missouri, fourth. No first-place votes. Tennessee, fifth. No first-place votes. South Carolina, narrowly behind Tennessee, only 7 points behind Tennessee in the polling. South Carolina did get a first-place vote. So somebody out there thinks Shane Beamer is going to come in and really shock the world and win the SEC East in year number 1.
I think I can say with a lot of confidence that our good buddy Jay Phillips did not make that vote because he wasn't there. He was on vacation, and he missed media days. So I don't think our friend Jay was the one who cast that first-place vote for South Carolina.
Vanderbilt rounds out the East. In the West, Alabama, number 1. That may surprise you. They got 130 of the 134 first-place votes in the West. Or 100. Well, that's weird. There are 134 first-place votes in the East, but only 133 in the West.
No, it's 134 because 4 different teams got a vote, and Alabama got 130. Oh,
no, okay, I missed LSU. Texas A&M, second, 1 first-place vote. LSU, third, 1 first-place vote. Ole Miss, fourth, 1 first-place vote. Auburn, fifth. Arkansas, sixth, with a first-place vote. So somebody with a lot of confidence in Sam Pittman in year number 2. And Mississippi State rounding out the West with 217 points in the voting. 84 people have Alabama winning the SEC. 45 people pick Georgia to win. 1 Ole Miss, 1 A&M, 1 Florida, 1 Kentucky, and 1 South Carolina. So that person has a lot of confidence in Shane Beamer. Not just winning the East, but winning the SEC title.
Well, that's crazy. That's and again, we're down in the numbers, so there would probably be a little bit more craziness. But for the most part, the voting went according to plan. And you asked me on Tuesday during 2.5 questions how I would predict the divisions. And by looking at the voting, pretty much what I thought. In the West, I had Bama, A&M, LSU, Ole Miss to finish 4th, Auburn 5th. And then at the bottom, Arkansas, Mississippi State, coin flip. Even though Arkansas, I think they could really scare some teams like they did last year. In the East, Georgia, again, looks like the overwhelming pick because Florida lost a lot from that offense last year. But then you look at process of elimination and who can take Florida or overtake Florida for second. I don't see anybody. But I think they had Kentucky getting 2 first-place votes and Missouri getting 0. I think Missouri's going to be 3rd. Kentucky 4th. Tennessee 5th. They'll take their lumps in the first year under Josh Heupel, but they'll improve. And then South Carolina and Vanderbilt. So pretty much according to, I think, what most people would think, how it will turn out in the SEC, and certainly pretty close to what I said when you asked me on that about that subject on Tuesday.
Matt Corral of Ole Miss, first-team quarterback on the media's all-SEC team.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he will put up the best numbers because of that offense. I think, him and JT Daniels. JT Daniels as the second team. I think I would put those 2 guys first and second for sure in some combination, and I would vote for Corral first team. Bo Nix gets the 3rd team nod. Tennessee with Cade Mays on the first team on offensive line. That is the only Tennessee player on the offensive side at all, I believe. Yeah, that's on any of the
Well,
teams.
when you lose Eric Gray, who was your best offensive player, and he goes to Oklahoma, I don't know what else you have there.
And Corral is the only. Well, Ben Brown of Ole Miss, 3rd team center. So they did have one other player on the offensive side of things. Mississippi State has Charles Cross on the offensive line on the 3rd team. That is their only offensive player. Just crazy when you think about like Mike Leach offense and like there's no offensive players other than one offensive lineman that makes the preseason all SEC teams.
Yeah, don't be surprised if he stays healthy, that Will Rogers puts up those numbers at the end of the year, he ends up being a third-team quarterback. I would think, again, Corral, Daniels, Corral in that order. Miles Brennan, I expect some pretty big things from LSU. The Missouri quarterback, Connor Bazelak, I think will put up numbers. But don't be surprised if you see some really good numbers from Will Rogers.
The first-team defense has 6 Alabama players.
Shocking. That's it, just 6? Not the entire 11?
So more than half of the defense. Actually, it is half because there are 2 guys that were, I think, tied. Yeah, they have 12 guys. So half of the defense is Alabama guys. And then they throw a couple of guys on the second team and 1 on the third team, 2 on the third team. So there are 10 Alabama defenders on the 3 all-conference teams. So basically, their entire starting defense is all SEC on the media voting.
I'd hate to be that 11th guy.
Yeah, I don't know who the 11th guy is. Poor guy. He's like, man, can nobody vote for me?
Can somebody throw me an honorable mention?
That's just crazy.
What
stuff.
about our area teams as far as the all-defense? Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Tennessee. Anybody on that?
Nobody in the first team.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Grant Morgan of Arkansas, second team. Jalen Catalan from Arkansas, second team. And Alante Taylor from Tennessee is third team. No Ole Miss, not surprising there. No Mississippi State. Anything defensively.
So the question is,
Jerrion Ely of Ole Miss is the first team all-purpose and return specialist.
Yeah, I was reading where...
And Mac Brown of Ole Miss is the third team punter. Paxton Brooks of Tennessee, the second team punter.
I was reading where, I guess it was during media days when Lane Kiffin met the media, somebody asked him about Jerrion Ely, and he said, we're going to use Ely all over the place. Sort of like the way Tony Pollard and Antonio Gibson were used at Memphis. So you're not going to just see Ely in the backfield. He's going to line up in the slot. He's going to line up wide. They're going to do a lot of things with that talented athlete. All right.
Well, it's what they did last year.
You have Snoop Connor, and you have the other guy in the backfield.
Gosh darn, what was the receiver? Now I'm just drawing a blank. What was the receiver?
Oh, it was the
boy. Why can't I think of his name?
Peeing on the field guy, the star receiver from last year.
Gosh dang it, I can't think of his name. But they would use him in the backfield.
Zach, help us out here. The star receiver from last year for Ole Miss. He did the old during the Egg Bowl.
Elijah Moore.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I was drawing a
senior
complete
moment.
blank. I was like, for some reason I had A.J. Brown stuck in my head, and I couldn't get A.J. Brown out of my head to come up with Elijah to get off of that. But they would put him in the backfield. One thing Lane Kiffin is very good at is figuring out who his best weapons are and making sure that the ball ends up in their hands in as much as possible. And with Elijah Moore gone, I would guess that Jerrion Ely is going to be that guy this year that they are going to move all over the field, get him the ball in different ways and different places to let him use his playmaking ability because he is probably the best playmaker on that team.
As well as John Rice Plumlee. And it keeps defenses off kilter a little bit when you go in with a game plan and you expect this guy to be over here and that guy to be over there. And all of a sudden, they're in different places. And that's why Lane Kiffin always has an innovative offense. He really can use players to the best of their ability. All right, so that's how the media saw or sees the SEC upcoming season. What if Oklahoma and Texas were in there? How many votes would Oklahoma get to win it all? Would they get any?
Well, it depends. What's the alignment?
I would have to put Oklahoma for, let's say they were able to shove them in for this year. Obviously, they can't. But if they were able to shove them in for this year, you can't have both in the West. I would put Oklahoma.
Are you putting both of them in the West and then moving Alabama and Auburn to the East?
That's what of course, I tweeted that out the other day, which if I had my druthers, that's what I would do. But let's say they didn't do that. Let's just say for just this year, they threw one in the East, one in the West. They threw Oklahoma in the East and Texas in the West. Oklahoma in the East. Do they get the bulk of the first place votes over Georgia? Or does Georgia get it?
I would say no. I would say Georgia would still get the nod.
And if they were in the West, Alabama would still get the nod.
Because I first of all, much of this media voting on this is very much SEC homers. So they don't. The bringing the Big 12 teams in that, they don't play no defense over in that Big 12. All they do is just spread it out and blah, 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 all that stuff.
But they'd now be a part of the family, though. But now they would be in the SEC.
And they're the newcomer. And it's also a big part of it would be the fact, again, Oklahoma has been great in dominating the Big 12. When they've gotten to the playoff, they've never won a game. So it's all we know about Oklahoma is they have been the best team for the last decade in the Big 12. Which isn't that great of a conference. Like, it's because Texas has been down, and you look around the rest of the conference, okay, what else is there really you're competing with? When they have gotten onto the big stage. See, that's the thing. Like, everybody always talks about, like, Notre Dame and, like, their poor performances in the playoffs. Why don't everybody ever talk about Oklahoma? They've never won a game. They get there all the time, and they don't ever win a game. So why does anybody ever criticize Oklahoma and say they don't belong in the thing when it's always, well, Notre Dame, we know what happens when they get in?
Because it's easy to pile on Notre Dame. Notre Dame is either beloved or hate it. Oklahoma is not one of those polarizing programs. They just aren't. If Lincoln Riley all of a sudden becomes this bad dude that nobody likes, maybe that'll be the case, which is becoming that at Clemson with Dabo Swinney. And in our next segment, we'll get to some of the things that he has said recently, as well as the comments he made about the 12-team playoff. But I want to start to get into the latest news with Oklahoma and Texas. So, last night, there was a teleconference meeting between officials of all the Big 12 schools. But as I said on yesterday's program, I didn't expect Oklahoma and Texas to be a part of it, and they were not. So it was the 8 remaining schools that met. And they talked about a number of things. They talked about sticking together and this and that, but they also talked about the absolute veto power over the addition of another school from the same state, which obviously would affect Texas A&M and Texas coming to the SEC. They also talked about, I guess, the legalities that would come into play, because they certainly would, with contracts on an early exit, on if Oklahoma and Texas were to leave for next season or even 2023. Because I saw another story this morning, Eli, that said Oklahoma and Texas officials are prepared to wait until the end of their media rights contract, which runs out in 2025. So that is a ways away if that is the case. But most people don't believe that will be the case. Most believe that will happen sooner than later. Yet another report from earlier today, I want to say it was from the Statesman, but I'm not 100% sure, that basically said they're going to announce something here in the next couple of weeks, that this has been in the makings for 6 months, and that Texas A&M officials were never consulted, never talked to, never alerted by Greg Sankey and SEC officials. So you have all these stories that are out there, but for the bulk of them believe that this is imminent. Although coming out of last night's meeting of the minds from the Big 12, they came out of it saying it's not imminent, and that they really want to know the true reasons why Oklahoma and Texas are leaving.
Well, okay.
A lot to decipher there.
First of all, it's obviously imminent when Texas and Oklahoma decline the invitation to be in the meeting. Like, you have basically told them we aren't even part of the conference anymore. We don't need to be in any meetings.
Don't include us.
There's nothing to tell you. I mean, that's rather obvious that they are leaving when they don't even, when there's a meeting of the conference and they say, "Nah, we're good. Y'all do your thing. We're just fine." There was one that said that they believe it could be. Some people believe they'll be playing in the SEC next year. Like, it's all over the place. Nobody knows for sure. Mm-hmm. But clearly, they are leaving. And it's the whole legal battle over the grant of rights and how much money they're going to have to pay and all of that stuff.
Can you explain that, by the way? The grant of rights? What it...
Well, the Big 12,
layman's terms,
the Big 12 owns their media rights. Texas and Oklahoma, all the teams in the conference, owns the media rights for football and men's basketball until 2025, because that's what they've signed. They've signed it over till 2025. So the Big 12 owns their media rights in those two sports until 2025.
Including the Longhorn Network?
No, it's those games. Like if they're playing a game, the Big 12, a home game, the Big 12 owns the media rights to that.
No, I understand that, but you also have the Big 12 Network, the Longhorn Network, that's a part of the conference, I would assume getting a certain percentage. But with Texas getting the bulk, how does that play into it?
The bottom line, the media rights only apply to two sports. Football and men's basketball. They have signed those over, so they own the rights to those two sports where they're playing. So if they're televising a home game, that is a Big 12 controlled property. The SEC can't do anything about it. Like it's the Big 12 owned. Now they will buy their way out of it. It's just how much are you going to be required to pay? I've seen some people saying it's probably going to be like 76 million, which is 2 years of what last year each team in the Big 12 got $38 million. There's something I think in their contract that talks about 2 years worth of that is about, I mean, it'll be a negotiation, a legal, and I guess could theoretically become a legal battle if they can't come to terms on something, but they'll both pay a hefty sum to the Big 12. Now, the other thing, the other part about that, though, that is, to me, would be interesting. If the Big 12 remaining teams can't figure out a way to keep the Big 12 intact, if the Big 12 ceases to exist, then I don't believe they would have to pay anything because there is no conference. There's nobody. We don't owe anybody anything because there is no Big 12 anymore. So that's why I think probably why those other teams would really, if they can find a way to keep it together and add some teams, but that may not be possible, and they may all go doing their own thing because they realize that's their only way of survival. They just got to go find their own conference to get into.
All right, two questions. Number one, and I know this is way out there in right field, but if Texas and Oklahoma do leave for the SEC, which seems to be the direction everything's going, and the Big 12 collapses, could they be, from a legal standpoint, sued for causing the collapse of the conference? I know it's crazy talk, but the financial well-being of all the other programs and the conference itself ruined by the move of these two.
I mean, because I'm certainly not a lawyer, and I
mean, we've heard of frivolous lawsuits before.
But each school still has the ability to do what is best for them. I mean, just because the conference can't, the argument, listen, the conference could have gone on without us. They could have absolutely gone on without us. We're not. Just because we're gone doesn't mean they can't have a conference. And the only way it folds is if all the other schools leave. So, you going to sue all them too? I mean, right now there is still technically a conference without them. You've got 8 teams.
There is, but not much of one.
No, but
I understand.
We know that in reality, but legally, you can't just say, well, because they left, that means the conference was dead. Well,
so
you had 8 teams. You could have had a conference.
No, you're right. Look, I don't believe that either. I just threw it out there because there's so many crazy things that come out of with lawsuits. Just so many frivolous lawsuits. You wonder, where are they coming from? But, this one, I certainly could see somebody stepping up and going, you caused all this. The other thing is you mentioned the $38 million over 2 years. Just the one report you saw, which would be $76 million penalty for both Oklahoma and Texas. What is the estimate right now? Because somebody's had to have written about this. What is the, guesstimate that once the Sooners and the Longhorns join the SEC and a new renegotiated contract takes place with ESPN and the network and the conference, what is the guesstimate on how much each one of those 16 schools will bring in annually?
I've seen one. Part of it's a little unknown. They've got the CBS deal that's expiring and all that, which is going to take it up anyway. And then, but I've saw some that thought they would probably be in the $60 million range at least to start in the SEC. That would be starting in like 2023 or 24 when they're I saw one of them that kind of threw that out there as a ballpark of where they thought that could start. But
so not quite.
Part of this is one of the things that is still so unknown in these TV contracts is the streaming part of it. Like if are some of these streaming platforms going to try and get more involved? That if you add Texas and Oklahoma, now you've got more product from the SEC. And so, does the Amazons and Apple TVs and all of them want to try and get in there somehow?
Right.
And how much more money could that bring? That's pretty much every sport is facing that thing of how involved do they want to get in the live sports?
Yeah. So the guesstimate would be not quite double what they're making now, but it would be significantly higher. Thus, the reason why the move is being made.
It's why that, like, if you have to pay $70 million to get out,
you'll make it up.
Okay, and
you'll make it back pretty quickly.
Oklahoma, not as much as Texas, but Texas, like, okay, $70 million to get out. All right, do you want me to give it to you in cash? How would you like it? Just try to write a check now. I've got $60 million in my pocket. Like, do you want me to give it to you in cash? How would you like it? Just try to write a check now. I've got $60 million in my pocket. Like, that to Texas, that's going to be
take a
absolutely
cashier's
nothing.
check?
Like, it would just be, Oklahoma not quite as easy for them, but still not going to be an issue because they know how much money they're going to make on the back end of that.
Well, look, I brought it up earlier in the week when this story first came out about Texas. I understood Oklahoma. I didn't understand as much Texas. Texas brings in the most revenue out of all the schools. So Texas right now is number one. So you would think, well, why are you making the move and going to a tougher conference, which will make it tougher for you to get into the playoff? I still have that question. But last night when you have the results of what that meeting was about, and they did talk to media members about some of the key points, and one was they really want to find out from the horse's mouth why the move is being made. And again, everybody in the world knows it's all about the almighty dollar. Yeah. So I don't know why the rest of the Big 12 officials don't understand that.
Well, I think what they want to know is if it is simply about money,
can we raise the stakes to keep you?
Is there something we can do to keep you? Like, is there a financial way to keep you? I think that's what they want to know. Is it simply money, nothing else whatsoever? And if it is there something we could do as a conference financially that would keep you guys here?
Which goes back to, you want equality among all your conference members. And yes, right now when you look at what they're getting from the television contracts, it is broken up evenly, whether it be a 14-team, a 12-team, or I would assume a 16-team conference. But if all of a sudden, to save your hide and to save the conference, you think you can overspend and overpay these two, what does it do for the rest of the conference? And how do they react to it? Because all of a sudden now you're not playing on even ground. And it really isn't even when you think about what Oklahoma means to that conference, especially in football, which is the most important sport when it comes to finances, or what Alabama means to the SEC compared to, let's say, Vanderbilt or South Carolina. It really isn't an even playing field, but certainly the league and the commissioner has to break up the money on an even basis because you are a member and you're an equal member and you have an equal voting right in important subjects that come up. It's not like Vanderbilt, you don't vote on this, and Alabama only votes on this, and some of the other powers. But if you're doing that to try to save Oklahoma and Texas and save the conference, then I would hope that the other 8 would understand where they're coming from. I don't think they could do it. We're going to come back. We're going to continue this conversation and what it means for Memphis moving forward. Pete Thamel had some interesting things to say yesterday. If you want to text in, 360-8255. John hits us up on Facebook. John, I'm fine. I just have laryngitis. I apologize for the sound of my voice, but I feel terrific. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports Time with Wallo and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hey, if you're hungry for great Mexican food for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, got it. La Guadalupana. Guadalupana, Guadalupana. Choose from tacos, burritos, enchiladas, sizzling shrimp, beef, or chicken fajitas, and even a Cuban sandwich filled with Mexican sauces, chicken, ham, steak, jalapenos, avocado, and more. How about super nachos topped with melted cheese, beans, sour cream, guacamole, tomato, and jalapenos? All great with nice cold beer, domestic and imported. Good prices, generous portions, great service at 2 locations, Summer Avenue and Cordova Road. La Guadalupana. I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
Memphis's hometown airline, Southern Airways, is offering a sizzling summer deal. For this July only, flights from Memphis to Harrison-Branson, Hot Springs, and El Dorado, Arkansas have a promotional fare starting at just $19. Fly over the interstate traffic and bypass the bridge delays on one of Southern's flights to Arkansas. Catch a concert in El Dorado, hit the lake in Hot Springs, or fly to Harrison and make the easy drive to Branson or even to Fayetteville. Flying Southern is easy with no TSA screening hassles and free parking at Signature Flight Support. Don't forget, Southern service to Destin has returned for its 9th summer season. So if you're planning a trip to the Emerald Coast, visit iflysouthern.com to reserve your seats today.
At Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I was working part-time in a 5 and dime. My boss was Mr.
Once again, Big 12 officials minus Oklahoma and Texas officials met last night in a conference call among the presidents. They want to know why Texas and Oklahoma want to leave. Is it purely financial? We just talked about that at the end of our last segment. And according to one of the sources, they don't believe it's 100%, but there are many other members of the media and officials, whether anonymous or whether they're hiding behind the shroud of secrecy, that feel that this is imminent, that it will happen. Pete Thamel, by the way, said the ACC and other leagues have made inquiries through back channels to Oklahoma and Texas. Now, I wonder if this is in response to the SEC or before this even materialized. But he reports that, again, other conferences reached out to Oklahoma and Texas. He said the schools are still expected to start the process of joining the SEC next week. The Texas and Oklahoma back channel communication to the SEC has been going on for more than a year. So one guy reports 6 months. Now Thamel says it's been more than a year. You were wondering yesterday how they were able to keep it as secret as they have all the way up until now, until the story broke during SEC Media Days, if you know what I mean. Broke perfectly, timing everything during SEC Media Days. But to be able to keep this process that has been reportedly going on for over a year secret, pretty amazing.
Here's what I will say, for the people who think that it's, I guess, like not a done deal. If you're dating a girl and you find out she's been hanging out with another guy and you want to kind of repair your relationship with her and she doesn't even take your phone call, you're probably not going to repair your relationship with her.
Could she have lost her phone? To talk to Maybe she lost her phone.
If she's not willing to talk to you, if you contact her and say, hey, honey, I'd like to just get together and kind of talk about us, and she says no, doubt you're going to get back together with her. It just seems like she's probably moved on in her life and has somebody else out there that she's more interested in.
Well, you use that analogy. It's interesting because of this other story I saw earlier that said the Big 12 or make that Oklahoma and Texas prepare to wait until the end of the media rights contract is up in 2025. If you're the Big 12 and you have a couple of your members that don't want to be a part of this anymore, I don't know why. It's just like a player who wants to be traded.
Yeah, but
like the Packers are hanging on with Aaron Rodgers.
For some of these schools, if that's kind of going to just give you a home for a while to try and figure out what you're going to do, it may not be a bad thing.
No, I mean for the Big 12 to have Oklahoma and Texas for a few more years, even though they will ultimately get out. Do you want that?
Yes, because, again, you're cashing a big check, and it gives you time to figure out what you can do as your future because you don't know.
No, I would think so as well because just like I said, with the Packers, they're not quick to try to trade Aaron Rodgers because he's disgruntled because Aaron Rodgers is freaking Aaron Rodgers. Oklahoma and Texas are too powerful. Well, Texas not as much right now, but we know where they have been and where they can get to. Oklahoma's an absolute power.
A couple of texts here on the text line at 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255, our text line and our phone line. I talked about Oklahoma in the playoffs. Somebody says Oklahoma's at least showed up in the playoffs. Had Georgia beat and blew it, Notre Dame never has a chance. I guess that's a fair point, but they're still 0-4. Like, we know they're good at dominating the Big 12. In the playoffs, they're 0-4. and 3 of those are against SEC teams, and it's 3 different SEC teams. Alabama, Georgia, and LSU have all beaten them in the playoff.
Yeah,
so
but
that's who you're going to go against.
What's the suggestion? We just have the one conference? Just have SEC, 16 teams. They play for the national championship every year. Forget about everybody else. It is what it is. The SEC is dominant.
It's not a suggestion. It's just pointing it out that we act like Oklahoma's going to come into the SEC and be dominant. All we know is they dominate a Big 12 that isn't very good.
No, nobody's saying that they're going to dominate Alabama and dominate Georgia. There's the possibility that in time they could. But what it does is it's another team that is going to be ahead of the Ole Misses, the Arkansas, the Kentuckys, all these schools that don't have a prayer to get into the playoff, even a 12-team playoff, unless they have one of those absolutely phenomenal out-of-the-box seasons, because that's another consistently great program that would be in the same conference.
Somebody else says, I think Oklahoma in the SEC will be a middle-of-the-pack team.
They won't be a middle-of-the-pack team.
I mean, they got one of the great young coaches in America. I mean, Lincoln Riley is a hell of a coach. His offensive system has been crazy successful in producing not only big numbers but Heisman Trophy winners. And I think Lincoln Riley is a great coach. I think they will be good. I'll be interested to see what Oklahoma is in the SEC playing that schedule on a yearly basis. I think it'll be that's to me one of the great things about this happening is to see that. Like, we now get to see, like, okay, bring them in there into the SEC, and what are they in the SEC?
All right, let me get to some phone calls here, and then we'll dive into what this all means for the University of Memphis. Again, I keep attributing Pete Thamel's quotes. He's been on top of this, and he had some interesting things to say about the dominoes falling here in the near future. But let me start with Mike. Mike, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Well, first off, the colleges are just whores. They're going to go after the money. They've proven it time and time again. And if you're a charter member or whatever, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, look, when the Southwest Conference broke up, there were several schools in there that were charter members. Didn't make any difference. And I eventually think they're going to get down to about 32 teams because TV's going to go to somebody like Alabama and go, well, I give you the Mississippi State money. You can double your money. And I think that's what's going to happen in the long run.
Well, allegiance is out the door. You're right about that. When it comes to the almighty dollar, the commitment to that conference goes right out the window if you get a better opportunity. Thank you, Mike.
Right.
Appreciate the phone call. Mark wanted to ask something about the Packers. I did bring up Aaron Rodgers, so a little bit off subject, but let's go to Mark. Mark, how are you?
Hey, good morning to you, gentlemen. How you doing?
Doing well. What do you got?
Well, I'm sick and tired of the drama. He needs to shut up, play the game. Did you all see that video on the morning show with Terry Bradshaw?
No, but I heard what Terry Bradshaw had to say.
Well, like Terry Bradshaw said, they got Mark Malone in the draft, and he said he encouraged him, come on in. He knew who the quarterback was going to be at the beginning of the season. Back in 2006, when they got Aaron Rodgers in the draft, Brett Favre didn't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And look, same thing's going on this year. Who cares? Play the game that you love. If you don't want to play, quit. If you want to make $10 million a year going Jeopardy, go for it. I am sick and tired. I mean, I've been a Packer fan since I was 6 years old.
Mark, you know what? It goes back to the previous caller, Mike, and about the money. We're talking about college football, but now with the NFL and Aaron Rodgers, if these guys are not making the money they're making, there's no question that they're not holding out. They're not worried about being fined. The financial situation is so strong for them, they can do all this. Back in the day, they couldn't do that. They're committed to the team. They're under contract. They show up for camp, and then they play. But this is a guy who has more money than sin, and he can do whatever he wants. The power is all with the player today as opposed to back in the day when it was all with the ownership.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, but the thing is, though, they tried to get him another 2-year extension, make the highest-paid quarterback. He declined it. He didn't need the money. Fine. But you've got a 3-year contract. Finish your contract and then go where you want to go.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate the call. I've always been a stickler to contracts. Why are they written? Why are they signed if you don't live up to those contracts? I understand where Mark's coming from. That's a disgruntled Packers fan. But the power's with the player. and they can hold out. They can not show up. Financially, obviously, he turned down reportedly the highest offer for a player in the NFL to become the highest paid player. So it's not about the money. He does not like the general manager. He does not like who's running the show. And it's plain and simple. And you can call that being a baby, being stubborn, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all about your willingness to, if he's willing to sit out and be fined or whatever, then the team can't do much about it.
All right. When we come back, the situation for Memphis now in collegiate athletics, what it means for everybody. Also, Dabo Swinney, some more interesting things that he had to say. But, of course, we want to thank our first-hour sponsor, Action 24/7.
That's right. Action 24/7, the local sports book in the state of Tennessee, owned and operated by Tennesseans. And, of course, you can be betting on everything there just like you can on all the others. And you got some additional values like cash deposits and withdrawals. They've got locations around the state where you can do cash deposits and withdrawals, so you don't have to deal with any credit card headaches in trying to make some deposits or withdrawals from Action 24/7. When you sign up and make your first deposit, make sure you use promo code WHBQ100, all capitals on that WHBQ. They'll match your first deposit 100% up to $400. So turn that $400 deposit into $800 immediately with your first deposit at Action 24/7. Just go to the website or download the app to your phone and get betting today with Action 24/7.
You're listening to Sports 56 Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane comes your way every weekday morning from 7 till 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Streaming only on Peacock.
What do you know about Dr. Dunch?
He was charming, intelligent.
My patients mean everything to me.
Based on the unbelievable true story.
I can't make sense of it.
Dunch has 2 deaths that we know of. The state of Texas has executed people for less.
It's like he knew what he was supposed to do, and he did the exact opposite.
Dr. Death, starring Joshua Jackson with Christian Slater and Alec Baldwin.
I am going to fix you.
All episodes streaming now, only on Peacock.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Have you noticed your air conditioning system never breaks down at a good time? We know at Conway Services the timing's not always right to replace your air conditioning system. That's why we have financing options available. Right now, during the dog days of summer, get your new Carrier air conditioning system for as low as $99 per month. That's right, Conway Services has new Carrier air conditioning systems for as low as $99 per month. Now you could do that. Plus, your new air conditioning system comes with a 10-year parts warranty and a free Nest thermostat. And you know, with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Golf enthusiast, looking for new golf greens? Got it. New and exciting Cypress View Golf and Recreation, just over the Mississippi River in Marion, Arkansas. Cypress View Golf and Recreation, absolutely gorgeous. Your first tee, you're looking at cypress trees a mile long in between a small lake. Give it your best shot. Feel like you're on vacation. Located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion, Arkansas. It's the new semi-private pro golf club. Cypress View Golf and Recreation has a new golf pub with tons of new food items for breakfast and lunch. Choose from Philly cheesesteak sandwich, homemade fresh hand-patted burgers, and Nathan's hot dogs, flatbreads, quesadillas, summer salads, and more. Take advantage of Cypress View Golf and Recreation's new membership for unlimited golf, 7 days a week, only $199 plus tax. Call Pro Mark today at 870-739-6305 at Cypress View Golf and Recreation.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Attention foodies, there's a great new place to eat in a great restored building. South Hall Cafe is now open for breakfast, brunch, and lunch in the former Tobacco Corner. Chef Jesus Ramon is creating classics from scratch with a twist. Enjoy all your favorites, including the best cheese grits in the South, a full bar, an in-house pastry chef, catering, online ordering for curbside or delivery, and a covered patio with live music on the weekends. We're open 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays and 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekends. South Hall Cafe, corner of Poplar and Mendenhall.
Like a coin in your man, I am dented.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Take me to the pilot for control. Take me to the pilot of your soul.
Well, welcome to the show. Chip Brown from 247sports.com, following and covering the Texas Longhorns. Breaking: Texas and Oklahoma, founding members of the Big 12 Conference, are leaving the league. Sources tell horns247.com. So when Chip Brown says it, usually it's accurate, but he's maybe a day late and a dollar short as far as this story is concerned. So Pete Thamel said yesterday, or tweeted out yesterday, that he thinks the Big 12 should try to lure the two Arizona schools to the Big 12, Arizona, Arizona State, take them away, poach them from the Pac-12, and then decide on whether or not they want to expand to 12, to 14, or to 16, to add 2, 4, 6 schools possibly. And the schools he brought up, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll please. Thank you. Oh, that's pretty good. UCF, USF, Cincinnati, Boise State, BYU. Names that he brought up in his tweet. We're going down that road again. Obviously, BYU, an independent, Boise State, a football, I don't know if I want to say power, but an established football program from the Mountain West. And then 3 schools from the American Conference. Houston would be on that list, except that the worry is you already have the schools, Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor, in the state of Texas. Would they want another Texas school? Where does that leave Memphis, which we'll get into hot and heavy coming up here in hour number 2. But this goes back to what we talked about, Eli, with the dominoes falling very, very quickly. And whether it be Mike Oresco and the American trying to add teams to an attractive league and beat the Big 12 to the punch and watch the disintegration of the Big 12 right before your very eyes. But you know the Big 12 is going to throw out a life raft and try to stay afloat and add. If they poach the Pac-12, then the Pac-12 would have to make some moves. Is the Big 10, which, by the way, Big 10 Media Day starting today, will they look to add to what is already 14 teams? These are all the questions, and many, many more that are out there right now that are facing all the other conferences and many of the programs, including the University of Memphis.
The whole thing, there's a lot of moving parts of it, but the main thing is whether the Big 12 can hold it together and be a hunter, or are they just going to be the hunted and they're just going to spread their separate ways and all just go find a safe haven so that they just to make sure that they're not left out. So I'm sure that those schools are already calling around and trying to see, Big Ten, ACC, like what could we get in here? Are you going to go to 16? And if so, we want to be there. And if that happens, well, then if you're Memphis, you need to be contacting the ACC or whatever and seeing if there's a spot maybe for you to get in there as well. If they're going to take, West Virginia, and maybe that's it, but they'll take West Virginia and they're going to add another one. Could you be that team? Or because what you don't want is that to all of a sudden be like Cincinnati, and then they're going out of the conference, and you're the American ends up getting a couple of teams picked out of there, and you're not one of them, and now you're just in a depleted American Athletic Conference.
What is a Big 12 television contract worth with the 8 teams they have now? And let's just say, for the sake of this discussion, the 2 Arizona teams.
I don't think there's any chance they're plucking from the Pac-12.
Okay, just go along with this. Add 2 teams. I don't care. Maybe it won't be the Pac-12. Add 2 teams, but not from the American, and throw them in there. How attractive, minus Oklahoma and Texas, is the television rights deal with the Big 12 compared to an American conference with what they have now, plus add whoever you want? It's not that far off, my point. The point I'm trying to make, it's not that far off. Oklahoma and Texas draws a good contract for the Big 12 with television rights. Without those 2, I don't know what those guys would be paid. So the American Conference adding schools, beating the Big 12 to the punch, to me would be more attractive for a really solid renegotiated television contract. Nothing compared to what you're getting in the SEC or the Big Ten. I understand that, or the ACC. But it would be pretty good. If not, you are just sitting and waiting and hoping. However, Laird Veach is a connected athletics director with ties to the Big 12, with ties to Commissioner Bob Bowlesby. How does that play out? We'll continue the conversation in hour number 2. We'll take your calls at 360-8255, your texts at 901-360-8255. More college football news. I keep telling you about the Dabo Swinney comments. He had some more comments yesterday, which, again, you just scratch your head. Mac Brown also made some comments as well about the 12-team playoff. Then a great story involving University of Memphis men's basketball we'll get to. We got some baseball to get into as well. At 11:30, Ben Johnson, the skipper of the Redbirds, will join us. The Redbirds set a new franchise record last night with their 12th straight win. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Is there a room in your house that never seems to cool or heat the way you think it should? Then a Mitsubishi ductless system may be a solution for you. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Ductless systems are relatively new to the United States, but Mitsubishi ductless systems are a proven energy saver because the system does not have any ductwork, so it can blow colder air in the summer and warmer air in the winter. Mitsubishi's inverter-driven compressors automatically adjust to your cooling or heating demands to deliver ideal comfort while only using the energy that is needed. No more, no less. Do you have a bonus room, sunroom, or master bedroom that never cools right? Maybe a new addition to your home or a garage you want heated or cooled. Now you can do it efficiently. Call Choates today at 755-4797 or visit our website at choateshvac.com to schedule your free estimate. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience.
Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Corky's is your home for authentic Memphis barbecue. Our dining rooms are open, or stop by our speedy drive-thru. Order your party packs today starting at only $5.99 per person.
Mid-South Hobbies has your favorite model airplanes, boats, race cars, and trains to build. With brands you know like Lionel, LGB, and a large selection of Traxxas radio-controlled trucks, cars, and boats. Mid-South Hobbies has all the accessories to make them complete, with thousands of paint colors to make them shine. Reach the sky with rockets and kites, or reach deep into your imagination with action figures, comic book superheroes, and fantasy quest games. Get passionate about your hobby at Mid-South Hobbies. 4862 Summer Avenue, open 7 days a week. Call 901-682-9402.
Tired of waiting on your sportsbook? Waiting for deposits and withdrawals? No more waiting with Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:04 at the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Middays, the Friday, July 23rd. 2021 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd producing. Once again in for Gabe Kuhn. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Second hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by James Gaddis Jewelers. And every Monday and Friday they bring you the James Gaddis Jewelers Sports Fact. Did you know the University of Memphis has been affiliated with 7 conferences in their history? 1928 through 33, they played in the Mississippi Valley Conference. Then from 1934 through 1942, the SIAA, the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Association. Then there was a long span where they were not affiliated with a conference. That was from 1943 through 1967. 67 through 74, the Missouri Valley Conference. 75 through 91, the Metro Conference. 91 through 98, the Great Midwest. Then you had from 91 to 95, the Great Midwest. Then from 95 to 2013, Conference USA. And then later in 2013 to present times, the American Athletic Conference. But could that change in the near future? James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, between Mendenhall and St. Elmo, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. They're your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners in that same East Memphis location for a quarter century. You could call them at 901-767-9648. They are full-service jewelers with two-bench jewelers ready to serve you daily. It's James Gaddis Jewelers.
Got a text from JJ. It says, how in the hell can all the media speculation about who goes where be taken seriously when nothing has happened yet? Well, nothing has officially happened yet. But again, it's clear now, if Oklahoma and Texas aren't on the phone call, aren't even willing to talk to the other members of that conference, they're clearly leaving. And in that story by Chip Brown you mentioned, he says that they plan to inform the Big 12 on Monday that they will not renew their grant of rights when they expire in 2025.
But I guess the bigger question
is... So that is the first step of the process.
Right, but the bigger question is not if they're leaving, but when they are leaving. Could they force them to stay, as we talked about at the end of the hour, as far as the girlfriend that doesn't return your call, but they know they're going to get financial gains if Texas and Oklahoma are still affiliated with the conference, and since they're under contract, do you keep them there? Can you force them? Or is there just a financial agreement that they make with both those schools and let them go on their own merry way?
Yes. I mean, it'll be I'm sure there will be whatever it's all in the contracts that will determine this as far as exit fees and all that stuff are determined. But then as far as that grant of rights, I'm sure there will be a negotiation and they will settle upon a number that will allow them out. And then I guess part of it would be determined by when the SEC can officially vote or, whatever, accept them as members, and then how quickly that can be done and get them playing in the SEC. Again, I saw one story that said they thought they could be playing in the SEC next year, 2022. So, Brett was talking about 2023 yesterday, which would it would seem like it would be really hard for next year. that's a quick turnaround. But, but I don't know. I guess if they can get a deal done quickly as to their exit from the Big 12, I guess theoretically it wouldn't be that hard to get them in the SEC for next year.
Although we learned from the pandemic that you don't have to schedule a football game 10 years in advance. You can do so in 48 hours. So there are ways to rush things.
That's right, but the schedule's not done for the SEC for next year. I mean, it could. But yeah, I mean, it would, as long as, to me, the harder part of that would be getting all of the legal and all the financial negotiations and everything done with the Big 12 to get the clean exit from there. But if they can get that done quickly, and there's a number they can come to quickly that is fine with the rest of the Big 12, and they can get the heck out, then I guess theoretically the SEC accepting them, that shouldn't be that big of a problem.
All right, speaking of the Big 12 and the University of Memphis, Laird Veach is the vice president and director of athletics at the University of Memphis, and he has a tremendous resume that includes stops at a couple of institutions in the Big 12. Iowa State University, he was a part of as a senior associate athletics director for external operations. He also spent quite some time at Kansas State University. Eventually was the deputy athletics director before moving on to the University of Florida and then subsequently to the University of Memphis. He is good friends with Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby. There is a good connection and a good relationship between them. That doesn't mean a great relationship personally would turn into a decision made by a commissioner on friendship rather than substance. But it does get your foot in the door in case that is the direction that things end up going. Because, again, we've talked about the possibilities with Memphis. We talked about the possibility of them moving to the Big 12 when there was the expansion talk not that many years ago that ended up not going anywhere. Well, the situation that presents itself right now is to be extremely proactive, as Mike Oresco needs to be with the American Conference, to make it even more appealing, a lot more appealing than it is now for what would hopefully be a lucrative television contract if you're able to bring in more schools. or to search yourself to be a part of expansion in the Big 12, not only expansion, but to fill the two voids that are left by Texas and Oklahoma, which is impossible to fill their shoes. But you need two schools at least. And then if they decide to go beyond that, you need to be in the position. As I said, Pete Thamel, just one reporter out there, but saying, yeah, if they go to 2, 4, maybe even 6, look at USF, UCF, Cincinnati, and then Boise State's name always comes up. BYU's name always comes up. Memphis needs to be in position where Memphis's name comes up.
Well, I mean, and other reporters bring up Memphis. I mean, it's just who you want to read and whatever. I mean, they're obviously going to be a part of that conversation. I just think, to me, I think it's going to be difficult for the Big 12 to stay together. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple weeks we start hearing these other schools of the Big 12 have found their new home.
Where?
I wouldn't be surprised if a couple end up in the Big 10. I could see the Big 10 just saying, you know what, we might as well go to 16 now. It's probably inevitable. Let's do it. The ACC doing the same thing. Because these teams they can't right now be that confident that they're going to be able to hold the Big 12 together in any form that matters.
But let me ask you this. And again, I said 10 times this week what Jackie Sherrill told us years ago, that it's going to come to be, when it's all said and done, 4 16-team super conferences. So you're talking 64 teams. Now, could there be 5 and 80? Yeah, I'm sure there's that possibility. But there's nothing etched in stone that says, because the SEC wants to go to 16, that the Big 10 has to go to 16, or the ACC has to go to 16. So it's not automatic that they even want teams. What do those teams bring to the table? Now, people will say, well, what did Rutgers bring to the table? What did Maryland bring to the table? They brought 2 huge markets. That's what they were trying to do. They weren't bringing Rutgers in for their football. They were bringing in markets. Are there markets out there still available? Well, Ames isn't much of a market. Do you consider Oklahoma City much? But you know which is a pretty good market? Houston. It's a damn good market. Is it a possibility that they could flee the American Conference? Maybe it's not from the 8 that remain in the Big 12. Maybe it comes from somewhere else. And again, is Memphis a possibility for anywhere else other than, and we don't know if they're a strong possibility if the Big 12 tries to add, or they're just a possibility. But does Memphis make sense anywhere else? Big Ten's not going after Memphis. The ACC's not going after Memphis. So I still believe that the strengthening of the American Conference is the way to go to convince Texas Tech and TCU, Baylor and West Virginia and Oklahoma State. Try to get those schools into the American Conference. Keep Cincinnati, Houston, Memphis, UCF. Navy football is pretty cool. I'd love to have Boise State, but why not strengthen the American? Why is it always abandon ship and try to find a lifeboat?
Well, that's the point that I'm saying. I don't think the Big 12 is going to stay together. So if those teams are all looking for new homes, especially if we start seeing some, you have to be, as the American, you should be right now contacting those schools and seeing if they would be interested in joining the American. I mean, their first thing is going to be trying to keep the Big 12 together, whether they could do that or not. And that's the thing. It's working. The American's going to be talking to the schools from the Big 12, trying to gauge their interest.
Right.
The schools of the American are going to be talking to the Big 12, saying, "Are you guys keeping this together? If so, we want to be a part of it." Because the bottom line is, the Big 12 is better than the American. It's a higher profile deal than the American. It has been. So it still will be looked at. It has and who knows what the new TV deal is going to be, but it has a way better TV deal and everything else. They distribute a lot more money. They have the bowl tie-ins. They've got a lot of different things that the American just can't offer. I mean, they distributed $38 million to each of their schools last year. The American distributed what? $7 million, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So
it
is what it is. Now, granted, again, Texas leaving takes away a lot of that money because the Longhorn Network, all that stuff. But you're still, if given that opportunity, if they're going to keep it together, there's going to be schools from the American that would rather be there than in the American Conference.
If I'm the Pac-12, I'm looking to add Boise State. I'm looking to add BYU. I'm not standing pat if I'm the Pac-12. They're already behind the 8 ball when it comes to Power 5 conferences. So why not look to expand there? I can see a couple schools from the Big 12 going to the Big 10, but again, they're small markets, and I'm not sure if that's the way they want to go. But Kansas, although they struggle in football, it's a national power in basketball. Iowa State's put together a pretty good football program and is terrific academics-wise, if that even comes into play. There's a lot of – I just don't see, and maybe other people out there listening to us see it differently, I just don't see Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC and everything else staying put. Right? There's no
Big 12's
way.
not going to sit with 8 teams.
Right.
No way.
But let's say it dissolved. Like some people believe it dissolved. All those schools have to go somewhere. So this is going to absolutely be the ultimate domino effect. Dennis is called in at 360-8255. Let's go to him. Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Pretty good. How you guys doing, man?
Doing great. Thank you.
Hey, look, I just wanted to ask you guys expert opinion, man. I know when the first time this came around, the football, our football program, wasn't up to par. I mean, is it just a money thing, man, why we always seem to be left out? Because you have 2 stellar programs. It's not like you don't have big corporations there. You have FedEx, you got Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't understand it, man. You look at all these other people that the guys you named, I think our football team is just as good or better as all of them. So I don't know. I just kind of want to know what you guys think and maybe enlighten me on why we seem to be always left out of this musical chairs.
Thanks for the call, Dennis, and you're preaching to the choir. I've wondered that as well. This is a large market. It's not New York, but it's not Auburn, Alabama. There's a lot of people in Memphis. There's a lot of people that care about sports and watch television. You have a program, a football program that what year was it, Eli, that the talk of the expansion of the Big 12 was happening? How many years ago was that?
I don't know.
Was it before?
Probably 2000, maybe 15, something. I don't know.
So we were in the midst of turning things around with the football program.
That's the thing. I mean, the Memphis's football program, when these things have come up, has never been that appealing. And you need your football program to be appealing. And now it is. It's way more appealing than it's ever been. It's been successful in winning, conference title, going to a Cotton Bowl. Game day was here with a full stadium. It's shown sustainability through coaching changes. It wasn't just you brought in one head coach who got it going and then he left and it fell down immediately. Like, they have shown sustainability for what they are doing. This is the best position Memphis football has ever been when one of these things has come up.
But I thought we were still in pretty good position when the Big 12 expansion talk happened in 15 or whenever it was, and then you saw the stories or heard the stories that Memphis didn't even make the cut of like 10 or 12 schools, and we were all aghast. We were like, what? How can this be? As Dennis said, great corporations, Fortune 500 companies in a major city with a huge population, with a football program that at that time was changing and now has established itself as a really good football program, with a basketball program that is one of the better ones in the country for the last 50, 60 years. You have the improvements that have been made on campus, the improvements made in this city. We know it. I just don't know if the perception of who we are is the same out there. Obviously it's not, than what our perception is. But our perception is reality because we live it. And that's the key, is to be able to sell that to a conference if Memphis is looking to move out of the American, if the American doesn't do anything and they're getting picked apart. Teams are getting picked out. And that's why I think Laird Veach is a perfect visionary. If it is the Big 12 staying afloat, adding teams, and looking to poach the American Conference. But to answer Dennis's question, I don't know, Dennis. I am with you 100%. Let's go back to the phone lines, and Matt is next. Hey, Matt.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Doing well, thank you.
So I've been reading all this and listening about it, and I think if Oklahoma and Texas do inevitably join the SEC, I think Memphis and Houston have a good shot of joining in.
Joining the SEC?
No, not the SEC,
Oh, okay.
the Big 12. Big 12. And I think the reasoning why is this. The only other team in my mind that comes even in comparison to Memphis is Cincinnati. But Cincinnati, beyond football, really doesn't bring much to the table as compared to Houston, where they can have an up or down football program any given year, and their basketball is consistently always good. And Memphis is the same way, especially with Silverfield now as the coach. And plus, Memphis and Houston are two big cities. But Cincinnati is a little bit more northern, being in Ohio, and I just don't think it's a good fit for the Big 12.
Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate the phone call. Here's the thing. I love what he's saying about the comparisons. Memphis and Houston, two big cities. I worry about two things. Number one, would Texas Tech, Baylor, and TCU have an issue with bringing in another Texas team? They had to battle Texas A&M as well for years. But now that they don't, do they look at it as, look, Houston's going to help us stay afloat, bring in Houston? Or are they going to look at it like, it's Houston, we don't need another Texas team? The other thing is, for whatever the reasons, the two Florida teams are perceived as gold mines.
As the recruiting ground.
Untapped resources because of the recruiting grounds, because of the weather, the population, everything about those two schools. Their names always come up. And UCF is, in my opinion, way ahead of USF. But USF is always lumped in with UCF as traveling partners. So that would worry me as well. But again, Matt's point is right on. I just worry about the way we are perceived around the nation as opposed to how we know we really are as a city, as a community, as a university here.
The thing with we talked about as far as the Big 12, again, if they're keeping it together and they're looking to add teams, certainly there's a lot of teams or a lot of schools around the American that would sell themselves and try and figure out the way. I mean, for instance, Cincinnati, if the Big 12 is going to keep West Virginia, like they could look at Cincinnati as kind of a, like you could almost go, maybe you could make the case that Memphis and Cincinnati would be better because you're kind of bridging yourself out towards West Virginia. Rather than, because right now West Virginia is completely on an island in that conference all by themselves.
Right.
Cincinnati gives you right there, you get close. Memphis is kind of the path to that. So you could look at it that way. Again, do you want to just add more Texas schools, or do you feel like, well, we're fine with what we've got in Texas with 3 schools already, so we don't care about Houston and we don't care about SMU, but they're 2 big markets. So there's a lot of ways you can look at it, and whatever school you want or you're with as far as making the case, there's a lot of them in the American. Memphis, Cincinnati, both Florida schools, both Texas schools. There's really good cases you could make to the Big 12 of why you're the best choice. Like the Tulanes of the world, the East Carolinas of the world. Tougher case to make.
Well,
Tulsa,
at least Tulane's in New Orleans.
It's a tough case to make. I mean, that's a really tough case to make. A lot of these have a really good case of why they make sense for the Big 12 if the Big 12 is adding.
And I agree with you with West Virginia. It could be a bidding war. In for lack of term, I don't mean sitting there and throwing out as much money as they can to get a school. I'm talking about the American trying to add West Virginia because first of all, it's an established university football and basketball program, and the connection with Cincinnati already in the American, or, as you were talking about with the Big 12, looking to add to West Virginia and that geographical area of the country by bringing in a Cincinnati. I could see it both ways. Where the American goes after West Virginia, the Big 12 trying to stay afloat goes after Cincinnati.
To me, I would think, if the ACC decides they are going to go ahead and add, then I would think West Virginia would be their number one thing.
Absolutely. No question. Let me get one more call in, then we'll take a timeout. We'll be joined on the other side by Ben Johnson. Brian is next up. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hey, guys. How are y'all today?
Good, thanks.
Good. I think the problem with Memphis, I love Memphis. Believe me, I'm a biggest Tiger fan, but the market is an SEC market, and they know, and that's what it's all about today, the money. And they know that, unfortunately, Memphis is an SEC market, and nobody's going to make a dent in this market besides the SEC. And so they're not going to even try. That's why I think when the Big 12 did their thing, we weren't even in the mix because they weren't going to get the Memphis market. It was all SEC.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Appreciate the phone call. He thinks there's just too many people in this city that follow other schools in the SEC and not so much Memphis.
That doesn't really matter. I mean, Rutgers is the perfect example of that. Do you think Rutgers has any market? I mean, do you think anybody up there is watching Rutgers football? No.
I can tell you firsthand or not.
It's just the market. Like, you're just looking at the market itself.
Mm-hmm.
Who they're actually watching doesn't really matter. I mean, Rutgers, like, nobody cares about that up there, but they were market. And in Memphis, the bottom line is
ADI.
The simple thing with Memphis is the market watches college football. Like, it just watches college football. The ratings for college football, yes, most of them are SEC games because that's what we get here. That's what the big games we generally get are SEC games. But it watches college football. It is a college football big time market. So I think that there is an attraction there.
Yeah, no, you make a great point about television because it's all about the ADI. How many people could possibly be watching you? It doesn't necessarily mean how many did watch you, but how many could watch you, which helps when you're selling sponsorships, when you're selling to companies that, look, there's 1 million eyeballs, or make it 2 million eyeballs in Memphis that could be watching the Tigers or watching American Conference athletics. That's how you have to sell yourself on. Real quick, because I promised this, I know Ben Johnson's coming up. Dabo Swinney, Mac Brown, both came out against a 12-team playoff, but Dabo said yesterday, after sitting through a detailed proposal from Notre Dame AD Jack Swarbrick, that he does see the value of, or in the idea of, a 12-team playoff, but only if one regular season game would be eliminated. I don't see them going in that direction because, again, you eliminate a game, you're eliminating money. Dabo also said he's against the professionalization of college athletics. So leave it up to Dabo, who's making hordes of money, to have an issue with name, image, and likeness and what athletes are able to bring in now after all those years of not being able to do so. So there you go, Dabo. Way to get into the modern times. We will take a timeout. The skipper of the sizzling hot Redbirds, Ben Johnson, joins us next right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 58.5 FM.
Grab a seat with Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
At Mossy Oak Golf Club, it's nature's golf, the connection with nature in West Point, Mississippi. At Mossy Oak Golf Club, the combined philosophy of the George Bryan family, course architect Gil Hance, and the #1 brand in outdoors, Mossy Oak, they have delivered the full experience. Guests are greeted with the gentle charm of the region. In partnership with Old Waverly, the two courses deliver an unrivaled experience. The only location in the Mid-South with 2 top 100 courses in one location, across the road from each other. The cottages at Mossy Oak open to the golf course. Spacious accommodations. Contact Chris Graves at 662-424 524-1000 or Chris Graves at mossyoakgolf.com. Stay and play with seasonal rates that end a summer getaway, fall football golf trips, businesses wanting to have a company retreat for their employees, or to entertain customers. The course follows the contours of the rolling prairie and oak tree stands in West Point, Mississippi. Contact Chris Graves, Sales and Marketing Manager at 662-524-1000 or go to mossyoakgolf.com.
Magic in Memphis. Excellence delivered. Where the world comes to showdown. To be the king of Grind City. Today's stars, tomorrow's legends. Taking care of business. Compete to conquer the world. Don't miss the World Golf Championships FedEx St. Jude Invitational. August 5th through 8th. For more information, visit WGCFedEx.com.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Visit Frontier Western Store this summer to check out tons of new products. Frontier added so many new items in their women's boutique. There are daily arrivals with thousands of on-trend tops, jeans, and pants in stock at amazing prices. And guys, Frontier's your #1 Carhartt store. There's no one around with a larger selection of everyday fits and workwear. Wrangler and Ariat clothing also available. Frontier recently remodeled their entire store and expanded the world-famous boot showroom. Now there are even more dress and work boots in stock. After Ariat boots, then you've got to check out Frontier. There are over 1,000 pair of Ariat boots alone, and thousands more in other brands such as Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, and Twisted X. As if the selection isn't reason enough, there's Frontier's low prices. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so when you're ready for your next pair, you know right where to come. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Terrific discussion on the situation with Oklahoma, Texas, how it could affect the University of Memphis, how it could affect college athletics overall. We'll get back into that, time permitting, a little bit later on in Hour 3. Also, Parker Fleming will join us at 12:05. The NBA draft will take place next Thursday. We'll talk about the possible prospects that will be available at 17 for the Grizzlies, although the Grizzlies could move up, could move down. A lot of things that could happen with the NBA draft next Thursday. But another terrific story that's happening, right now it's happening in Louisville, but it's been happening for quite some time, whether it be in Memphis or on the road, and that's the Memphis Redbirds. Last night, the Redbirds shut out the Louisville Bats 3-0 to win their 12th consecutive game, which is a franchise record. The previous record was 11, set during the 2017 season. And what's even more amazing that at one point this year, the Redbirds were 15 games under 500. They have completely turned it around. They are playing excellent baseball, and we're pleased to be joined once again by our friend, the skipper of the Memphis Redbirds, Ben Johnson. Ben, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Doing fantastic.
But not as good as you, I don't think.
Yes. I mean, wow. 12 in a row. The obvious question, how did you get it turned around, Ben?
We're doing more of the same, to be quite honest with you. There's some background noise because I'm walking through the stadium now, but we were here in Louisville, I guess probably right around 15 games under 500. We were here last week, maybe 2 weeks ago now, and just kind of had a meeting with the coaches. And they came to me pretty much and just wanted to kind of get some direction. And I told them straight up, guys, this is where I'm at. I believe in what we're doing. I'm convicted in what we're doing. We're not changing. We're going to double down as to what we're doing. So here we are, man. Nothing's changed. We're just continuing to work hard. And what's most important is I want our guys to know that, ups or downs, we're going to have fun. We're going to work hard, and we're going to play hard. That's the expectation. All three. We're going to have fun. We're going to work hard. We're going to play hard. So that's where we're at, man. That's where we're at, and it's great to be on this side of it because a lot of the conversations have changed within the clubhouse. We do a ball talk every day, and it's a different conversation when you're 4-4 opposed to rattling off the street. So it's been a lot of fun, and we're taking it game by game. We're enjoying it, but we're having a lot of fun too.
When you look at this winning streak, you've won kind of every way. You've put up a bunch of runs in some games, then you've won 1-0 and 2-1 games. So, has it been more pitching getting it kind of improved, or hitting, or is it just the combination of both and getting timely pitching and hitting?
It's a combination. It's a combination of both, and it felt like up until this point, we'd have one and not the other for a good bit of our year. Just from someone who's been doing this for a while, 99 was really my first year in professional baseball. I knew that if we came with a good attitude at some point, it was going to come together. And sure enough, man, here we are. We're getting it done on both sides of the ball. We're pitching, we're getting timely hitting, and we're playing defense. Defense has been something that we've kind of leaned on all year. We had a group. We had kind of our core middle infielders at the alternate side, and that was something that I challenged them with at the beginning of the year, was that, hey, let's not just be the best defense in AAA. We've got a chance to be the best defense in baseball. So let's go out and try and do that. Our work has matched that, and, we're playing good defense. So if you can hold another club to 27 outs and they give you 30 outs, you've got a chance. You've got, what I mean? You've got a better chance to win that ball game. So I believe in that, and that's where we're at, man.
It doesn't hurt that the Redbirds bullpen has an earned run average of 2.29 over the last 15 games. So obviously, who you're throwing out there in middle of the game, late in the game, whoever you give the ball to seems to be coming through.
They've been great, and that's a hats off to Denier Orozco, our pitching coach. Once again, man, he's such a great personality. He's patient, but he's got a really good delivery of a message, and it seems to be right on time. And man, I tell you what, Denier kind of saw the future. He said, BJ, we're going to lose a lot of games this year, and this was before spring training started. I was like, no, man, you're crazy.
Wow, that's a lot of confidence, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah. Hey, but real talk, he just saw it. He said, we're young. It's going to take a while for us just to catch up with AAA and just to catch up with the speed of the game. And sure enough, he saw it. He's had incredible patience with the guys, and now they're really throwing the ball well.
What is this? We talked about it before the year, but with the fact that the 6-game series and everything else, what has this season been like? Because it's a little different than normal.
It's different, and I love it. Get a chance to, we're here in Louisville now. You get a chance to just kind of settle in. You unpack, you're in one place for 6 days. That's one less travel day a week. And in AAA, that travel day is usually like a 4 a.m. wake-up call and a 6:30, 7 o'clock flight. So to just get one more day of sleep throughout the week. It affects everyone a lot differently. We also use that day off. We have Mondays off. We've been using that as a travel day. So it's just, on this end, from just player development standpoint and just from like a coaching standpoint, I feel like the schedule that we have now is really beneficial to everyone. I really do. I love it. The one downside I would say is that, if you do have, if there's some mixed emotions with maybe an umpire crew or some mixed emotions with another team,
you're stuck with them.
You're wearing it for 6 games, and that's the only downside. But it's all part of it. There's so much more upside than downside. I take this schedule hands down over what we've done in the past.
Well, you also, in that, you're playing different teams, too. So what's that been like in getting to go to these different cities and play different teams?
It's been great. Louisville, I think was on the schedule years ago. I don't recall, but it's a great town here. To get the chance to kind of come over here, mix it up, go to the Louisville Slugger Museum. It's a different look for everyone. We'll get the opportunity to go to Durham later in the year. Also, we'll get the chance to go to Norfolk for. I remember. I think we spoke on this in the past, man. Bull Durham was one of the first baseball movies that I remember. So to get a chance to go there and kind of see what that's about, I think it's good for everyone. And I feel the travel is easier on everyone.
Mm-hmm. Not having to go to Tacoma and places like that.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's pretty nice.
Well, yeah, you go to Tacoma, but you go to Tacoma and you fly that morning and you play that night. That's a long day.
It's only 3 days that you're there, or whatever the case is, and then you're gone. This time you have the 6 games.
That's right. You can settle in. I'm enjoying it. Really enjoying it.
We're talking with Ben Johnson, the Redbirds manager. The Redbirds going into play tonight in Louisville, a 12-game winning streak, which is the longest in the history of the Redbirds. Last night, you started Daniel Ponce de Leon on a rehab assignment. I know that a big part of what you guys do is develop the young players, but also from time to time, you'll get a player on a rehab. How long is Daniel going to be with you?
I anticipate Daniel maybe making one more rehab start with us. But a lot of it will kind of hinge on how he's feeling today and how where our major league club really wants him. I thought he threw the ball really well last night. It came out. He looked really healthy. So to really say, to give him a timetable, I think he was too far along to say that he's going to be with us for an extended period. We'll reassess today and then kind of go from there.
And when do you guys come back home?
Let's see. Sunday, day game here, and then we'll be back on the road after that game, back to Memphis.
So you'll be home. Tuesday will be your first game back at AutoZone Park.
Yes, Tuesday.
And
we'll be back at home.
And you guys have been the Cardiac Kids. You have won a number of games at home in walk-off style. So this is an exciting team to watch, folks. Some young stars that are really starting to perform up to their level for the Redbirds. One other thing, Ben, before we let you go, I was just curious about this. Here we are approaching August. Obviously, COVID is still a part of our world. It's a big part of the sports world. Do you have any understanding about how many of your players are vaccinated, and how are there still tests or checks for unvaccinated players as far as COVID tests?
Well, the exact number I'm not 100% firm on, just because we have a lot of movement with our major league roster. I know our parameters and our restrictions are more lax than they were earlier in the year. So we're at an 85% threshold. I know that for sure. In order to be under the parameters that we're under and the restrictions that we're under, to know that exact number, I'm unsure. I'm unsure. The players that aren't vaccinated are still tested, I believe, maybe on a bi-weekly basis.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's all I wanted to know was
yeah.
kind of the percentage, the threshold. You said it was 85%, which is darn good. The team, again, playing incredible baseball, back in action tonight against Louisville and back home at AutoZone Park on Tuesday. Ben, keep up the great work. Thank you, as always, for your time. We always appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Ben Johnson, the Redbirds skipper. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. You call Brandon McCullough. Write down this number, 901-438-5084. You don't need any other number. 901-438-5084. Call Brandon. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. They offer financing with different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket. They are part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. Pinnacle does residential and commercial roofing, so business owners, property managers out there, along with homeowners. If you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They are licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work, satisfaction guaranteed. They do work around the home like carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, install shingles, put up fencing, siding, rotten wood repair. Whatever you need, if you can do it yourself, great. If not, call the experts at Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Quality work at a very good price. Once again, 901-438-5084. Call Brandon or check them out online at newroofmemphis.com. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Start your engines, Mid-South. Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike is ready for the Enjoy Your Summer Style sales event. Get plenty of pulling power and more standard features than Mazda CX-5 and Ford Escape in your new 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. And hit the road in a 7-passenger 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. We Gossett at $259 a month. All powered by our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So don't miss the Enjoy Your Summer Style sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, 750 loyalty rebate, 48 months, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Outlander NZO 16672, MSRP 29480, Cross NC 003186, MSRP 27725. Includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sports book? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. 2 great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P, Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Daria or the Double Daria, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres? To become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Belly Acres.
Hey, Mid-South, it's time to trade up at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during the Trade Up to a Kia sales event. Hey, what's happening over there, Jeff Allen?
We got it going on, and we're ready to help you trade up to your next Kia. I've got a 2022 Kia Soul, not a lease, and 0.9% APR, $289 a month. 2022 Kia Sportage, 0% APR, and only $365 a month. And if you want American-made, we got it with 2022 Kia K5 now, $374 a month.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All $29.99 down payment, 60 months, sold in 715-0981, 0.9% MSRP, $20,685. Sportage in 79.79,540, 0% MSRP, $26,060. K5 NGO 950.54, 0.9% MSRP, $25,840. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only. Must finance through Kia on APR offer.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Great story from Stephen Johnson of the Daily Memphian on Desmond Merriweather's son, Nick Merriweather. Of course, Desmond Merriweather, who passed away tragically from cancer, the best friend of Penny Hardaway. And Penny Hardaway, that's really where he got his coaching start, was helping out Desmond and then taking over at Leicester Middle when Desmond passed before Penny went on to East High School and now subsequently the University of Memphis. Well, Desmond's son, Nick Merriweather, just finished his second season at Southwest Tennessee Community College, and now, according to the story, will be a walk-on for Penny Hardaway at the University of Memphis. How about that?
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great story.
I don't know the type of player he is, and if this is a guy who actually is a contributor, but 2 years at community college, I guess he could play some ball, but just the fact that this has come full circle for Penny Hardaway, just an outstanding story, and certainly outstanding that Penny is able to do that and bring Nick on as part of the roster.
This is interesting. Brian Fisher from Athlon Sports tweeted, he says, as one administrator just reminded me, got to be a bit awkward for the AAC and Big 12 offices to literally be across the street from each other right now.
I didn't know that.
That's wait, I just saw some representatives from TCU walking down the street. Which office did they go in? Who are they visiting today?
Oh my gosh. The battle of the conferences.
Maybe they should just go out in the street and rumble, and winner gets to pick the other one apart.
Some more baseball news from the major leagues. Your boy Yermin Mercedes is back.
Yeah, it was a quick retirement. Maybe only Brett Favre could have shorter retirements, I think, than Yermin Mercedes. I mean, that was.
I told you he was going to turn around and realize what was.
Everybody knew he was going to, but nobody knew it was going to be literally the next day.
He apologized on Instagram. Nobody really understood why he stepped away. He was playing well for their AAA affiliate, but he's back with the White Sox AAA affiliate. Hopefully, he'll one day be back with the White Sox. I would imagine if it's not before September 1st, when they can increase the rosters, I'm sure he will be there. Just a really strange story. Also, the trade deadline next week, some moves are going to start to be made. In fact, yesterday, one was made by the Rays. The Rays have been playing outstanding baseball, and they acquired slugger Nelson Cruz from the Minnesota Twins. Cruz, who could one day be in Cooperstown.
Yeah, the Rays. They're sending some mixed signals. It's a very weird deal. They acquired Nelson Cruz yesterday, so they go get a nice bat. But then today they've traded Rich Hill to the Mets, so they got rid of one of their a reliable arm in the rotation. So I don't, but not sure exactly where they're headed with all this. But the Rays are active here early on as we approach the trade deadline.
Yeah, mixed messages, but look, they're not sellers. They may have traded Rich Hill, but for whatever reason that they believe will benefit them in the future with whatever they got back in that trade. But they are certainly playing and making moves for this year because the Rays are right in the thick of it once again. The Summer Olympics opening ceremony has already taken place, but it will air tonight at 6:30 Central Time. And from everything I read of the reporters that are covering the summer games, it was weird because there's nobody there as far as fans, spectators. So there's no ambiance, right? They got the milked-in music and all that stuff, but they don't have fans there cheering for each nation that walks by. And that's got to be just a strange feeling for those athletes participating.
I mean, besides that, I thought the opening ceremony was pretty good. Like, as far as,
did you get up and watch it live?
We was keeping up with it on the morning show this morning. So we watched the nations march, parade their way in, and then they did like some other performances in between that. So I thought they did a really good job.
Well, from a television standpoint, I'm sure it looks fine and sounds fine because, again, they have the canned music.
Right.
But and there's live music going on there, but there's no ambiance of the fans because there's no spectators. So that's going to be strange as the competition starts up. And I know they've already had a few events, but when it really gets hot and heavy right after the opening ceremonies, the competition will begin early in the morning, Saturday morning here, our time, and things will take off. But again, under a cloud of issues, with COVID being the number one. Eli, you know what time it is, what time of year it is. You've mentioned it a couple times this week. It is award watch list time.
It's watch list season, yes.
Sean
We are
Dykes.
watching a lot of people. There's a lot of – I have millions of lists of people I got to watch for some reason.
Well, go ahead and watch Sean Dykes, the University of Memphis tight end. He is now on the John Mackey watch list, which is given annually to the top tight end in all of college football. Last season, Dykes earned honorable mention, all AAC honors after going for 47 receptions, 581 yards, and 7 touchdowns. And he will be an absolute key for this offense this year. Sean Dykes on the Mackey Award watch list.
I don't know how I'm supposed to watch all these people. I've got a lot of people I got to watch.
Well, it's a watch list. You have to watch. You have to find time to watch.
And then you got the players that are not on the watch list
I don't
that
watch
could
them.
be
I don't
on the
watch
watch
them.
That you
list.
need to watch too.
Right.
So it's weird when you're watching a game and you're supposed to watch like 2 guys in that game, but you're not supposed to watch any of the others. You really got to focus. It's hard to just focus on those guys that you're supposed to watch and not watch the other guys that you're not supposed to watch.
Well, there'll be a lot of focus next week on a lot of different young, talented NBA prospects because the draft will take place next Thursday. What will the Grizzlies do? And what will the Grizzlies do as well with other offseason moves like what they want to do with Justice Winslow? Will they pick up that team option? Will they let him walk? But what specifically do the Grizzlies have in mind for the 17th pick in the first round, which is what they own right now? We will get the thoughts of Parker Fleming, who on Grizzly Bear Blues has been breaking down the possible prospects that may be available at that point for the Grizzlies. But again, the Grizzlies could move up, could move down. We'll get Parker's thoughts to open up hour number 3. We'll get back into the situation in college athletics with Oklahoma and Texas just opening up Pandora's box. And then we'll have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation, all coming up in a busy third hour of Middays here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Summer in Memphis is hot and humid. Match that with an inefficient air conditioner, and that equals less comfort inside your home and higher utility bills. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. If you're frustrated with your current HVAC system, then let us give you a free estimate to make you and your family more comfortable this summer. Right now, Choates and Carrier are offering 60 months no-interest financing on select Carrier HVAC systems. If you're not ready to purchase a new system yet and need Freon to get you through the summer, then go to our website for our half-off 1 pound of Freon coupon. If your system hasn't received a maintenance yet, Choates is also offering their $20.99 AC tune-up. So turn to the experts with Choates and call 347-8086 today to take advantage of these specials. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Mid-South Hobbies has your favorite model airplanes, boats, race cars, and trains to build. With brands you know like Lionel, LGB, and a large selection of Traxxas radio-controlled trucks, cars, and boats. Mid-South Hobbies has all the accessories to make them complete, with thousands of paint colors to make them shine. Reach the sky with rockets and kites, or reach deep into your imagination with action figures, comic book superheroes, and fantasy quest games. Get passionate about your hobby at Mid-South Hobbies. 4862 Summer Avenue, open 7 days a week. Call 901-682-9402.
Attention foodies, there's a great new place to eat in a great restored building. South Hall Cafe is now open for breakfast, brunch, and lunch in the former Tobacco Corner. Chef Jesus Ramon is creating classics from scratch with a twist. Enjoy all your favorites, including the best cheese grits in the South, a full bar, an in-house pastry chef, catering, online ordering for curbside or delivery, and a covered patio with live music on the weekends. We're open 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays and 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekends. South Hall Cafe, corner of Poplar and Mendenhall.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Everyone's watching.
Welcome back, everybody. Final hour for us today. Final hour for us this week. And boy, do I need to rest my voice over the weekend. Hope you guys have a terrific sports weekend. A lot going on in the world of sports. Usually this time it's really, really slow. But, man, there's been a lot. And, of course, this Oklahoma-Texas story has been absolutely huge. We welcome you back. Hour 3, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
There is a report, by the way, from when it covers Kansas, that Kansas has a call set up with the Big Ten.
Remember when I told you there's two schools I was thinking of for the Big Ten? It was Kansas and it was Iowa State. I may have said it. I don't remember if I did. One other note from the world of baseball before we bring in Parker Fleming to talk Grizzlies and the NBA draft. I neglected to mention, if you haven't heard the news yet, folks, the Cleveland Indians have a new nickname, which will begin in 2022. That nickname is the Guardians.
They took out the "in," they put a "gar," and they ended up with the Guardians. Tom Hanks narrating the video.
Yeah, I heard that. It was pretty well done. Of course, anything with Tom Hanks is well done.
I never realized. I guess I didn't. Maybe I did know that he was a big Cleveland sports fan. I remember the famous scene from Bachelor Party when he hits the home run from the tennis court and he says Cleveland wins the pennant, but I just thought that was the character in the movie. But he's a big Cleveland sports fan because he lived there and got his kind of career started in Cleveland.
That's right. Yeah, he spent I think 2 or 3 years there as far as like this acting company where he began to learn the tricks of the trade. By the way, this is a great tweet that some guy named Casey Anderson sent out, and it was retweeted. And I have to bring this up. For the Guardians, the nickname of the Cleveland baseball team starting in 2022. Rough break for the Guardians, who at one point represented the entire galaxy and are now relegated to just Cleveland. Tough break, but that is now what they will protect, the folks of Cleveland. Right now, we'll head over to talk some Grizzlies, the NBA draft next Thursday. A lot of things that can happen, a lot of moves that the Grizzlies could make. They could stand pat and pick at 17 in the first round. They have a second-round pick as well. There's other decisions that the Grizzlies have to make here in the offseason, and we are very pleased to be joined by Parker Fleming, the associate editor and podcast host of the Long View for SBN Grizzlies. That's Grizzly Bear Blues, a terrific website covering the Grizzlies. You can follow him on Twitter at Paca_Flocka. And Parker joins us now on Middays. How are you, my friend?
No, I'm all good. It's Friday. I wish the weather was a little better, but hey, a draft 6 days. Me and the rest of Grizzly Bear Blues, we've really dove into this draft big time, and I'm just ready to kind of just see the results and see how the Grizzlies come out on draft night, especially now past 3 or 4 drafts. They've been pretty good. So
this front office,
we're not dreading it anymore.
No. The front office has done a great job in evaluating talent. I have the confidence in them. I'm sure you have the confidence in them. And, this is an interesting draft because you have 4 or 5 guys at the top that are expected to be really, really good players in the NBA, and everything else after that could be, and usually is, a crapshoot. But it doesn't mean you can't find a gem at 17. And you have been evaluating a lot of these prospects that could be around at number 17. And again, the Grizzlies can move up, they can move down. There's a lot of things they could do. But right now, Parker, give us your top 2 or 3 guys that you think will be available at the 17th spot and that would interest the Grizzlies.
Top 2 or 3. So I'll go ahead and toss out one name that's going to be pretty popular around the area because he went to Arkansas and he fits a position in need, and that's Moses Moody. From what I've seen on mock drafts, there's just a lot of variance between 8 and 20. There's just so much movement. There's some times where I see Moody in the top 10, but there's some times where I see him at 18 after the Grizzlies. And I tell you what, if he was after the Grizzlies, I'd be very disappointed. But I want to say last week it was reported that Moses Moody and the Grizzlies had a workout. So that's surely enticing. And he fits a position in need. We just watched a final series that contained 3-and-D plus wings like Chris Middleton, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and I think Moody kind of fits into that mold somewhere along the lines of Mikal Bridges and Chris Middleton. So he would be a fun prospect. Another one is Trey Murphy III out of Virginia. I've seen him be a very big riser.
Hey, Parker, let me hold you up for a second. We're going to put you on hold and see if we can get a better reception right now. We're getting a lot of beeps here. Parker Fleming joining us. I don't know what's going on. Is he at NASA? Is a rocket about to go off?
I think maybe it sounded like he was cursing a lot. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a lot of beep out, a lot of words there. I'm not sure what was going on.
We'll get that straightened out. Get Parker back on the show. But Parker does a really nice job. He's a great follow for the Grizzlies. If you follow the Grizzlies and you want to keep up with some of the members of the media that really do a good job in covering them, Parker does a great job, and he has broken down these possible 17th picks for the Grizzlies. I think Moses Moody is one that certainly I would like. I can tell you this. In the mock draft I'm looking at right now, and there's a million of them. This is NBADraft.net. They have Moses Moody going 18 to Oklahoma City. So the Grizzlies bypassing him, but bypassing him for another interesting name. So let's get Parker back on. Hopefully we've cleared that up. Parker, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm all good now, right?
Oh, it
Yeah, that's
sounds
better.
good. Sounds way better. All right, so I was just saying that I'm looking at one of the mock drafts, NBADraft.net. Moody 18th, so it would be the pick after the Memphis Grizzlies. But 17th, they have Corey Kispert, and that's a name I'm
Ooh.
sure that will excite a lot of people if he's available at 17, the shooter from Gonzaga.
Oh yeah, Kispert would be awesome. I'd be kind of bummed if they passed on Moody for Kispert, just because Moody, he's only 19 years old. Kispert's about 22, 23 years old. I think Moody has a lot more upside. I have him a couple notches above on my personal draft board. I still think, I think people are kind of overthinking Corey Kispert a little bit because his evaluation was pretty much set in stone in like January. He projects as, like Joe Harris kind of shooter, but also too, the thing that entices me the most with Kispert is that he also shot like 65% on twos. So like he gets run off the 3-point line. He can step in a couple steps and knock down a mid-range jumper. He can take it to the rim. If you got Corey Kispert at 17, that's huge. That'd be awesome. Another name, though, that's been really rising on draft boards recently has been Trey Murphy, the third out of Virginia. 6'9", shot 42% from three and 90% from the free throw line. They usually use free throw percentage as like a barometer for NBA three-pointer translation. I kind of pinpointed one of the biggest needs for the Grizzlies this offseason I'd like to see them address is shooting with size, because a lot of time in the playoffs they're going with those D'Anthony Melton, Grayson Allen, and Desmond Bain lineups so that they can match the 3-point firepower from Utah, and you're just giving up a lot of size doing that. So getting someone like Murphy or even Moody or Kispert, both of them have great size too. I would be big fans if they came out with them on draft night.
Yeah, Murphy, I think, just because I love that 42% number from 3-point range. One of the names that a lot of people like, and maybe it's the Dylan Brooks 2.0 model, is Chris Duarte. What do you think of him?
I really like Duarte. I think he has potential as a 3-level scorer. He kind of fits that MO with the Grizzlies, where he's an older guy. He's going to be able to come in day one and contribute. The one thing that I think with Duarte is, there's that log jam. You have Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, D'Anthony Melton, and then when Jaren Jackson Jr. is back in the fixture, then you have Anderson sliding down to the 3. So it's just really crowded. And I would be fine easing in a rookie if he was 19, 20 years old, but having a 24-year-old rookie just kind of waiting for other moves to happen to find a break into the rotation just kind of doesn't really sit well with me a little bit. But, I'd be happy with Duarte. Again, another shooter with size, and he can step in day one. It would probably signal more moves within the wings, whether it's Grayson Allen or D'Anthony Melton or Kyle Anderson. But, I think at this point, regardless, this front office has done so well drafting that they deserve the benefit of the doubt. Even if there's a pick where it's I'm not excited about this guy. They deserve the benefit of the doubt because of the track record so far for the past 2 years.
There's always the age-old question, need versus best player available, but I think we're all in the same boat, you, Eli, myself, as far as needing a shooter with size. I would be surprised if they went a different route. So would you also be surprised if it wasn't a really good three-point shooter that they took, assuming that one's available at 17?
Yeah, I would say that should be the primary target. When you're building around John Morant, whose bread and butter is getting downhill and finding open teammates on the three-point line. Especially as teams start to close in on him in that floater zone, in the mid-range, and he's going to be able to kick it out. And, if you're having a lineup where you have, hypothetically, you have John Morant, Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, just for fun, let's say Trey Murphy the third and Jaren Jackson Jr., you have all four of those guys ready to fire. Imagine how much that's going to open up for John Morant and how much that's just going to maximize him. Because, that's the engine of your offense. You're trying to get pieces around that maximize Ja and also maximize Jaren as well. But, adding another shooter, especially one with size, it could be nice. It can really just open up the floor. And release some offensive firepower that we haven't seen in Memphis before.
Well, two guys who wouldn't fit that shooting bill. What do you think about the two most mentioned international guys when you're talking about that thing with Şengün and Garuba?
I've been kind of back and forth on those guys. I personally have Şengün as a top 10 talent just because a lot of his strengths are similar to guys that are all-stars. I'm not going to put Jokic out there. Jokic literally just had an all-time season, but can he come into the league and be like another Domantas Sabonis? I think it also means a lot too that he went out in one of the strongest Euro leagues in the world, and I think he won MVP. But I mean, he was so productive. I think it says a lot when a teenager can go in and just absolutely dominate a league full of grown men. If they drafted Şengün, or even Garuba, I think it's just going to lead to, it's going to be a domino effect for more moves because, I mean, you already have Jaren Jackson Jr., and ideally you want one of those guys to be the guy next to Jaren Jackson Jr. down the road. You'll have Jonas Valanciunas, who you'll have to make a quicker decision on or a harder decision on. You're going to have to make calls on Brandon Clark and Xavier Tillman. I mean, I know people are kind of forget because those two guys fell out of the rotation in the playoffs, but those two are very productive young big men that could also slide in next to Jaren Jackson Jr. at some point. So I think it would kind of lead to more questions. I mean, if they took them at 17, again, benefit of the doubt, but more than likely at 17, if they're the pick, one of those two guys are the best players on the board. And it goes into like what you were saying, what you and Eli talked about is just taking best player available versus need. And I think it's always best player available, figure it out later. And if they ended up with Şengün or Garuba, I think you should be excited. I know it's not as exciting as getting a wing or getting another shooter, but I mean, those two guys are very productive players that fit next to Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant.
Is there any player or players that has gotten a lot of publicity as far as these mock drafts, having these players go pretty early, but you're not real high on them?
Yeah, I actually have one, Davion Mitchell. I know he had that awesome NCAA tournament run. I know people like to compare him to Donovan Mitchell solely because, they're both small combo guards, same last name, both wear number 45, have similar playing styles. I kind of worry with his NBA translation a little bit because I think he measured out at like 6 foot. And, if he can't play point guard and he's more of a combo guard that's at 6 foot, then it's like, okay, what's his NBA position?
Mm-hmm.
And then also, too, he did shoot 44% from three, but he also shot 66% from the free throw line, which, again, is like kind of that barometer of NBA three-pointer translation. And I think I saw something on Synergy Sports where he shot like sub 30% on NBA threes at Baylor. So, I mean, if he was a guy that fell to like 17, you're ecstatic about it. But if I was picking in the top 10 and my team was talking about Davion Mitchell, I'd be kind of worried, especially when there's younger guys that have more upside and maybe are even in the same tier as him right now. I kind of have him like that 15 to 20 range.
I certainly understand because I talked about it. I love Davion Mitchell the way he plays. If he was 6'4", 6'5", I think he would be unbelievable. But at his size, there certainly are some concerns that I think you should have. One guy, the guy that I think, other than the top 2 or 3, that I would really love would be Book Knight. How far do you think you would have to trade up to get Book Knight?
I mean, I've seen kind of the reports going around right now, but again, you know how it is with draft rumors. There's a lot of smoke with it.
Yeah.
So you got to see, like, okay, is there fire to the smoke? I'm seeing reports of Book Knight all the way up to 6, and I don't think you have enough to trade up to 6. And granted, I would rather trade up for Moody or like Scotty Barnes, Jonathan Kuminga. I'd rather trade up for one of those guys than trade up for Book Knight.
The mock I'm looking at right now has Book Knight 7. Right behind Barnes, right behind Kuminga, guys you're just mentioning. All right, so we don't know. They could move up. They could move down. They'll have a pick in the second round. You never know, diamond in the rough in the second round. But for the most part, this 17 is going to be an important part because this player could turn into a rotation player, no question about it. But they have to make some other moves in the offseason. And the most important decision right now is what they want to do with Justice Winslow. You've had time to think about it. As we approach that time where they have to make that decision, do you think they will follow through and pay him the $13 million with the team option that they have?
I think this is going to all come down to opportunity cost. I mean, this isn't the strongest free agency class in the world, and the Grizzlies, they aren't really free agent powerhouses at all. But with this year's free agency, there's like 3 players, or I'll say 4, that I really like. DeMar DeRozan, and reports came out today that he's interested in the Lakers, and he may take a pay cut to go there. I really like Lonzo Ball, but are you going to be able to entice him to come over and be the 2 guard next to John Morant when other suitors can offer him a starting point guard job? Duncan Robinson is another I've been really high on for a long time, but do you want to pay him what it would take for the Heat to not match that offer sheet? That's a good question. I think another one that's more realistic and maybe somebody that you would opt out a team Winslow's team option for, and it's going to be a Memphis favorite. It's Will Barton.
Yeah.
They need a veteran that can go out, get buckets, create his own shot. I think Barton would slide in perfectly next to John Morant, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Jonas Valanciunas in the starting lineup. At that point, you kind of just figure out what you want to pay him. Like, I think they can open up $25 million in cap space. Like, do you want to give him a 2-year, $36 million that, it's the short term, it allows him to get back into free agency one more time before it's prime, but also you're giving him that big contract before you have both Ja and Jaren's extensions on the books. And I think he raises the floor of your team, and I think raising the floor of your team is important, especially in this Western Conference. So otherwise, I'm cool with opting into the team option because here's the thing. It's one more year. It's 1 year. I know you'll have the opportunity cost of free agency, but, they're weighing. It's like, okay, well, we can't do this. We can't do that. I think our best use is opting into the team option. And, it's an expiring deal. Teams like expiring deals when it comes to trades.
Right.
So if you have, let's say something happens and somebody that makes between $20-30 million, they want out, and you can use Winslow's salary to help match salaries, especially when you add in, younger players on rookie deals, you add in future draft assets. That's kind of stuff's really important.
But they could also decide not to extend this team option and then renegotiate for less money with Winslow, right?
Yeah.
That's still an option, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I want to discuss, take some free agency meetings. Let's say they're like, all right, let's meet with Will Barton or let's meet with Lonzo Ball. Let's see if we can get one of those guys here. If not, let's bring back Winslow on a 3-year, $21 million deal. I don't think that's going to hurt anything. And, Winslow's not going to be like he was last year. That was I think he'll be fine with a normal NBA offseason, a normal NBA regime where you're actually getting practice time. Greg, you're familiar with it. They didn't practice for 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize, even though they're pros, that stuff's big. A lot of the days, that's time to just kind of unwind, get back into a flow, just get some shots up. I think that's something that's big, and I think we'll see that with a lot of players this year. We'll see gradual improvement because you're getting back to normalcy.
It was really strange, I thought, during the time period when Winslow started to play for the Grizzlies and struggled, and then they pulled the plug on him because there was 2 ways to look at it. One, they thought he was that bad where he couldn't even get playing time in the end. Or 2, they wanted to pull the plug for the reasons you basically just said. He didn't really have that time to practice and all that. And the more they put him out there, the worse he looked. And yet the goal is to bring him back, and they don't want the fans to look like, why'd you bring this guy back? He was just terrible. They seem to stop it right there before it can get out of hand with his struggles because he was going to struggle the rest of the way.
Right. I mean, it was pretty telling that, he couldn't even get into the rotation over John Conchar and Keelan McKilly. Like, I like those guys, but, like, before the season, you had Justice Winslow kind of like, anywhere between 3 and 6 in your team hierarchy. So,
yeah, it was just a strange thing, but it doesn't mean that they gave up on him. Like you said, they may be just looking at the possibility of him having this offseason, being able to have the time with the team. Maybe they'll renegotiate. Maybe they'll offer him the extension. Maybe they'll just say no to it. But the possibilities that could happen if they decline it and don't negotiate a new deal with him, all the money that'll be left over to possibly go after a Will Barton or somebody else this year. Most people believe they're focused on next offseason. But moves that have to be made, they're going to be made soon. And, of course, it starts next week with the draft on Thursday. And I recommend that you follow Parker. He does a great job in covering the Grizzlies, but also evaluating these prospects for the NBA draft on Thursdays. The associate editor and podcast host of The Long View for SBN Grizzlies. That's Grizzly Bear Blues. You can follow him on Twitter at Paca_Flocka. Parker, as always, thank you so much and have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me, Greg. Hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you. Take care.
Well,
hope to have the voice back.
I would
That's
say
what
this: I would not be tying myself to Justice Winslow for more than 1 year.
No question.
I'm not doing no not picking up the option of trying to lock him up for less money for more years. I am not tying myself to him for more than 1 year.
How about just less money?
He's not going to take just 1 year deal for less money. Unless it's literally his only option, which it won't be his only option.
Well, here's the thing: if they don't follow through with this team option, it tells me that even if they want to renegotiate for less money, it just tells me that they don't have the confidence in the guy. But I don't know if he played enough and had enough time off the court to prepare to evaluate that. Nah, he doesn't have it. He can't return to what he once was in Miami. Or they pick up this option, then, oh, no. It was overblown how poorly he played when he did play last season because they want him. And they have said that he is a part of their future. Doesn't mean that they're going to follow through and, again, go $13 million on this. They may just hold up and try to renegotiate. You don't like multiple years. I like Will Barton. If you could tell me that you can decline the team option on Justice Winslow and guarantee me you're going to get Will Barton for at least a couple of years, I would take that right now.
I'd have no problem with Will Barton. Texter says Winslow didn't fit. Why pay him? Go get Barton, campaign, and 2 draft picks. I don't know about campaign. You already got Tyus Jones. I don't know if you're getting rid of Tyus, but right now, there's not a need for a backup point guard.
Yeah, you still have a lot. You still have a lot of players under contract, so the trades are a possibility.
I mean, I got a ton of players like that. They have to get rid of guys just to add 2 draft picks.
Exactly.
It is a jam-packed roster right now for the Grizzlies. Moving is can be a tough time. Can be stressful. Can be difficult, but if you don't do it yourself, if you call the experts at Black Tie Moving, it can get a lot easier. 901-316-6196 is the phone number, 901-316-6196. Or you can just go to their website at blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. You can get a no-obligation quote from them to know exactly what it's going to cost. They'll sit down with you, come up with a plan that fits your needs, fits your budget, and, again, that no-obligation quote to help you make your decision. Whether you're moving across town, whether you're moving across country, wherever it is, you can be confident that the folks at Black Tie Moving are going to take care of your belongings and get them there safely and with no problems whatsoever. They've got an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, all kinds of 5-star ratings online as well that you can check out with Black Tie Moving. Again, 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis.
Let's do 10 in a row when we come back. Is that all right? Let's do 10 in a row. For goodness sakes, 360-8255. Jump on the phone lines right now. Give you a chance to win a great prize package. Get your sports weekend off to a great start. 10 in a row. And we return to Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. 2 great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P, Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Daria or the Double Daria, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Belly Acres.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right up and save money like never before at the Sunrise Chevy Big Top 10 event. See high prices disappear before your very eyes. Huge discounts and factory rebates up to $6,000. Bankrupt, slow pay, divorce, it's okay. The Sunrise Chevy team has over $500 million available for immediate financing and wants to get you financed. An $18 million used car inventory specializing in cars and trucks that are $10,000. See them all at sunrisememphis.com. The Sunrise Chevy tent sale in Collierville. Find new roads to Collierville, partner.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It's a cold, wet December day. We touch the ground in JFK. Snow is melting on the ground. Yes, I heard the sound of an angel.
Welcome back, everybody. Final 25 minutes or so here on Sports 56 Middays. And we'll hand things over to John Harden. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio comes your way at 1 o'clock. Brett McMurphy tweeting out Texas and Oklahoma will notify Big 12 next week of intention to leave the league. Of course, Chip Brown had that as well. The feeling is that they'll then notify the SEC next week to officially apply for SEC's league membership. And again, you need 11 of the 14 positive votes, affirmative votes. But you think, Eli, when it's all said and done, as the SEC usually does, it'll be unanimous.
Yes, what they announce, if they announce a actual vote, they will say it was a 14-0 vote. That I firmly believe that.
So even if it wasn't, they basically lie? Is that what you're saying? Just to keep that unity thing?
I agree with what's that. I don't know that there's actually going to be like a vote. It will be a discussion amongst everybody, and then the end, like, so we all agree we're accepting him, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Like it's.
Even though
they're not going to turn in a ballot and they're going, oh, somebody said no. Like, I think it's going to be a discussion, and everybody goes, all right, we're accepting both teams, right? Yeah.
Yeah, even if you lose the vote, if you're A&M and you vote no, but it goes 13-1, now forget about what you have discussed. You're with us. You're either with us or against us.
The SEC, everything they do, they always say, they are all united in every decision they make.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we need you to jump on the phone lines right now, 360-8255, because it's time for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It is 10 in a row, and we got a great prize package for you.
That's right. Winner of 10 in a row today is going to get $25 in Piggy Bucks from Central Barbecue. Also $25 to Sweetgrass and Cooper Young. And we're going to give a couple of Malco movie passes as well. So $25 for Central Barbecue, $25 for Sweetgrass, and 2 Malco movie passes going to the winner.
All right, we had the Media Days, of course, SEC Media Days, which wrapped up yesterday. All 14 coaches made an appearance. My question has to do with coaches in the SEC. SEC Football Associated Press Coaches of the Year. I'll give you the name of a coach. If they were named at any time in their career with the current team they're with in the SEC, the AP Coach of the Year, then it's yes. If not, no. Again, SEC football, let me say this again. They don't have to be with the team now that they won the award, as long as it was in the SEC. So the SEC Football Coach of the Year, they have a Coaches Award and they have an Associated Press Award. This is the AP SEC Football Coach of the Year. For example, if I said Johnny Majors, the answer would be yes. If I said Bear Bryant, the answer would be yes. Some of these coaches, though, who had good years were not named the AP Coach of the Year. They were named the Coaches Coach of the Year. There's a Coaches Poll Coach of the Year. All right, 360-8255, 360-8255, SEC Football Associated Press Coach of the Year. If they won that award, it's a yes. If not, it's a no.
All right, again, $25 to Central Barbecue, $25 to Sweetgrass, and a couple of Malco movie passes, all going to the winner of 10 in a row. 360-8255, 360-8255 to play. Johnny will lead us off. Hello, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, how are we?
Doing well. Again, these are SEC football coaches that have won the Associated Press Coach of the Year award.
Is it the Conference Coach of the Year award or the National Coach of the Year award? That's what I'm confused on.
The Associated Press gives out awards for every conference.
Okay, that's what. Is it Conference Coach of the Year?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the Conference Coach of the Year, but it's voted on by the Associated Press. Dan Mullen.
Yes.
Mark Stoops.
Yes.
Les Miles.
No.
360-8255. SEC Football Associated Press Coach of the Year.
Next up, we go to Micah. Hey, Micah.
Yep.
Hey, Micah. Gene Chizik.
Yes.
Joe Moorhead.
No.
Steve Spurrier.
Yes.
Hal Mummy.
Yes.
360-8255. SEC Football Associated Press Coaches of the Year. I'll give you the name of a coach. If they won the SEC Football Coach of the Year award handed out by Associated Press, it's a yes. If not, it's a no.
Next up, we go to Mario. Hey, Mario.
What's up, Mario?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Dan Mullen.
Yes.
Mark Stoops.
Yes.
Les Miles.
Yes.
Hugh Freeze.
No.
John L. Smith.
No.
Houston Nutt.
Yes.
Lane Kiffin.
No.
Mark Richt.
Yes.
Sylvester Kroom.
Yes.
Mike Shula.
No.
That was good. Winner.
Mario, congratulations, sir. You are a winner. You got $25 from Central Barbecue, $25 to Sweetgrass, and a couple of Malco movie passes coming your way. Hold on.
That's how it's done. Well done. That was no hesitation whatsoever from Mario. We doing second chance?
If Mario would have missed on John L. Smith, he would have been banned for a couple of months from anything.
You got one caller on the line.
Bill is on the line. I'll let Bill take a swing.
Hey, Bill.
How you doing, guys?
Doing well. Here we go. Second chance opportunity, Gene Chizik.
No.
Not good. Remember that big year with that quarterback named Cam Newton? Remember that national championship? The swan song for Chizik. I mean, he left. He was gone how many years after that? Wasn't soon after, wasn't it?
I think it was 2 more years he coached, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I can't remember for sure. When we come back, got a couple of texts that we will get to, some tweets as well on Memphis, a couple on the Grizzlies as well. So we will get to your texts and things coming back in just a little bit. If you are maybe looking to get out and play a little golf this weekend, you need to get by Edwin Watts first to get any supplies that you need. Also, you want to get over there right now. The last couple of days, they've had Callaway in store doing fittings for the new Apex irons and Epic Woods, and they've got a trade-in bonus special going on right now where they'll give you a little extra money on your trade-ins towards those new Callaway clubs. So go check them out over at the store. You can hit them there, of course, in the hitting bays. You get all the different clubs in the hitting bays to compare them, see which ones you like the best. You can get fitted for clubs there in the store at Edwin Watts, but whether you're looking for new clubs or just something simple like maybe a glove or some balls, they've got it all for you at Edwin Watts. Ridgeway Trace Shopping Center on Poplar between Ridgeway and 240, right next to the PetSmart there. Go see Jay and the gang at Edwin Watts.
All right, you didn't let me finish list 2 with you, so let's go over list 2 real quick. Gene Chizik.
Yes.
Joe Moorhead.
No.
Steve Spurrier.
Yes.
Hal Mummy.
Yes.
No. Lou Holtz.
No.
Yes. James Franklin.
Yes.
No. Phil Fulmer.
Yes.
Terry Bowden.
Ooh. Yes.
Yes. Ed Ogeron.
Yes.
Kevin Sumlin.
No.
That's a yes.
Someone won one?
Yes. 10 in a row. The game show that has swept the nation.
The Manziel year.
Yeah, some guys are instrumental in helping coaches win Coach of the Year awards. And really, that's what it's all about. When we come back, as Eli said, we got your text to wrap things up. And then we got one final thing before we hand things over to John Harden. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get your day off to a great start with Peter Edmonston and Anthony Sane on Sports 56 mornings. Weekdays from 7 to 10 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time to trade up to a Kia sales event at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. Get up and go in a 2021 Kia Rio 41 MPG Highway 0% and $239 a month. 2021 Kia Forte 0% and $268 a month. And get all-weather rugged and ready in 2022 Seltos $334 a month. Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get top dollar for your Kia trade today and trade up at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop online 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J and he'll put you in a new Kia today. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars. All $29.99 due at signing. Rio Forte 60 months at 0%. Rio ME 403.16. MSRP 17,315. Forte ME 379,469. MSRP 19,040. Seltos N 724 718 166 months at 1.9%. MSRP 24,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 must finance with KMF or low APR. Excludes tax file and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/2/2021. Dealer stock only.
Speaking of golf, this is Marty Fulton. You probably remember me from Holiday Golf, Whispering Woods, or Plantation. I'm a PGA Life member, and over the years I found whenever I advise Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Spensdorf about his golf game, Whether it was about equipment or a swing, invariably he still couldn't hit the ball out of a paper bag, mainly because he spent so much time selling homes. That's why people often say, when you want the job done, you call Shell Done.
Thanks, Marty. That's right. I spend far too much time on my house game than on my golf game. I tell people that they need to talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure that I am one of them. They need to find out the difference in what others do and my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shell Bucks option. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling their home, have them contact me, Shell Dunn Rosengarten at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Even in times like these, special occasions happen. And when an occasion calls for special, it calls for 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination. From the spectacular 36-ounce porterhouse paired with a Ferrari Carano Cabernet, to the jumbo lump crab cakes, to the raw bar with oysters fresh off the boat from the Gulf and the East Coast, there is simply no finer dining experience in Memphis than 117 Prime in the heart of downtown. These are complicated times, but if you want simply the best, you want 117 Prime.
Is there a room in your house that never seems to cool or heat the way you think it should? Then a Mitsubishi ductless system may be a solution for you. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Ductless systems are relatively new to the United States, but Mitsubishi ductless systems are a proven energy saver because the system does not have any ductwork, so it can blow colder air in the summer and warmer air in the winter. Mitsubishi's inverter-driven compressors automatically adjust to your cooling or heating demands to deliver ideal comfort while only using the energy that is needed. No more, no less. Do you have a bonus room, sunroom, or master bedroom that never cools right? Maybe a new addition to your home or a garage you want heated or cooled. Now you can do it efficiently. Call Choates today at 755-4797 or visit our website at choateshvac.com to schedule your free estimate. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Couple of texts here. We're talking about the Grizzlies and the Justice Winslow decision. One text says, I'm ready for Winslow to go now. All capitals on the now. He's contributed precious little. So not a fan of Justice.
Look, there's not a lot to like from what we've seen so far. Does it mean that he can't be better and a productive guy like the guy they thought they were getting when they made the trade with Miami? Certainly. But the texture's right. So far, we've seen nada.
No, and I mean, it was a very difficult situation.
I understand. But you can only judge him on what we've seen, right?
I still like Justice Winslow. I liked him a lot coming out of college. I still like him, but I would not be committing myself to more than 1 year of him right now. But if I was the team, I would pick up the $13 million option. I would take the 1 more year look at him. Somebody says, so in 2025, Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC. Now it'll be before 2025.
Yeah,
we don't know exactly when it'll be, but it will be before 2025.
Yeah, all indications are it will be. Obviously, they are, according to reports, trying to once they get to that point, they're going to negotiate a financial buyout. That's what they'll do. But if not, I mean, there was one report this morning that said they're prepared to wait until the end of the media rights contract expires in 2025. I just don't see that happening.
No, I don't. And again, I mean, we've already got, there's the report that Kansas has a call set up with the Big Ten. There's talk of these, Bruce Feldman says that during the meeting last night, there was discussion of basically a big merger with the Pac-12 to make a 20-team conference. So, like, the other teams in the Big 10 or Big 12 are already looking at where they can go and what their next moves are. So they're not going to try and hold Texas and Oklahoma for till 2025. They don't. They're all leaving just the way or figuring out what they're going to do just as much as Oklahoma and Texas are.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. Bruce Feldman and others reporting that again during the meetings last night, that they have reached out to the Pac-12. As you said, a potential 20-school merger was discussed. Again, doesn't mean that's the direction they're going in, but they think that move is a more favorable alternative. This is the media members, Bruce Feldman and company. They feel that a move like that seems to be a more favorable alternative for the Big 12 than bringing in new members.
A couple of tweets. We were talking about the Memphis situation, and the last time the Big 12 expansion talk came up and they were left out. One tweet here says the issue last time was decisions were being made by presidents and not ADs. It was more about academics and image than just sports. I disagree because we offer decent viewing market, travel well, and offer competitive programs. Another tweet says our improved academic standing, thank you, Dr. Rudd, should help this time around. We are definitely better positioned than last time.
Well, I can guarantee you presidents, ADs, and everybody with power within that university is making the decision. This isn't going to be left to just ADs making the decision. Person's right, though. The academics in Memphis or at the University of Memphis under Dr. Rudd has improved immensely. He's done a great job.
Again, I just think that overall, I think they're just way better positioned in probably every aspect of it than they were last time.
We know they are, but do the conferences that could be available to them or conference, do they understand that?
Again, I don't think this is about Memphis being picked off because I don't see how the Big 12 stays together. I think this is where the Big 12 schools go. I don't think this is about the Big 12 adding schools. I don't believe they can hold it together.
Well, what's interesting is if they did, let's say they did merge the Big 12 and the Pac-12. That's one conference. The SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC. Still, the American on the outside looking in. If it goes to the Big Four that we talked about. If it stays at 5, then the American now is part of the P5. They can move up from P6.
I would find it hard to believe that West Virginia would go into a Pac-12 merger.
I find it hard to believe as well. Look at the travel. But you know what? Geography went out the window many years ago. And what seemed to be just stupid.
Yes, for the most part. But
incredibly
West
stupid.
Virginia in the Pac-12 is even ridiculous by those standards.
Names are ridiculous. Look, the Big Ten has how many teams? The Big 12 has how many teams? The Pac-12 has how many teams? It's just, whatever. It is all weird. I think the Pac-12 actually do have 12, don't
yes, that's why they changed to the Pac-12 from the Pac-10.
Right, but the Big Ten
the
doesn't.
Others didn't change their names.
Right.
Pac-12 did.
It's all ludicrous. I mean, but geography is not the factor it used to be. I still think that's crazy with West Virginia, what you're saying with the Pac-12. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. Anything's out there and it's possible.
Again, if they were to do that, I
pay them enough money.
I think that West Virginia would absolutely be in the ACC. Would go to the ACC.
If the ACC wants West Virginia, if they want to increase as well. The ACC feels pretty comfortable, I would imagine, with the schools they have. I don't think they fear a Pac-12, Big 12 merger as being like, oh, now all of a sudden they are so much better. No, they'd be adding Oklahoma State and Texas Tech and Baylor to what they have already in the Pac-12. I don't think it would put the fear in the ACC.
The one thing, and Stuart Mandel pointed out, the issue the ACC has, their television deal is like a 30-year deal.
Jeez.
So they're locked in. Like all these others are going to be coming up and they're going to cash in and get more money and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the ACC, the problem, and I don't know how the contract reads, but the ACC may need to just add some teams in order to
renegotiate,
get that deal torn up, and do a new one. Now, it may be that they don't, even if they add teams, that doesn't necessarily have to happen. I don't know how that works, but as far as what's in that contract, but they may have to look at this as, this is an opportunity for us. We need to get a new TV deal because we're stuck in this one. I think.
Why would you do a 30-year deal?
It goes till let me see if I can.
The end of time, apparently. Why would you do a 30-year deal?
Let's see. It was. Let me see if I can. I think Stuart Mandel tweeted it when it ends.
Well, it's a long time from now. Either way, it just seems ridiculous on the surface.
It was a 20-year deal. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess he doesn't have the year that it actually ends, but it's in the 2030s, I believe. So it's a while down the road. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Feel-good story to end it. The Dolphins are signing former Seahawks linebacker Shaquem Griffin to a one-year deal after a successful team visit. It doesn't guarantee that he will be on the roster to begin the season, but it gives him an opportunity. Of course, Griffin defied the odds playing 3 NFL seasons with an amputated left hand that he's had since age 4 due to effects of a congenital condition called amniotic band syndrome, which left him frequently in pain with limited function, but went on to play 3 years with the Seahawks, which is just absolutely tremendous, and now gets an opportunity with the Dolphins.
This is interesting here. This just coming down ESPN with this. The Minnesota Vikings have fired Rick Dennison, he was their offensive line coach and run game coordinator the last 2 seasons. He is being fired because he refused to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine is required for all Tier 1 staff, including coaches, front office executives, equipment managers, and scouts. And in a memo released earlier this summer, the NFL said any unvaccinated Tier 1 staff member must provide a valid religious or medical reason for not receiving the vaccine.
Wow.
So
here we go.
I mean,
buckle up.
I hope Rick Dennison has some good reason for not taking the vaccine when it just costs you your job. Like, it's a vaccine, for goodness sake.
Real quick, Matt Hayes reporting that reports of Texas A&M not being kept in the loop of what was going on with Oklahoma and Texas is completely inaccurate, 100% inaccurate, that they knew all along what was going on. All right, we'll leave it on that note. We want to thank Ben Johnson, Redbird skipper, and Parker Fleming for joining us on the program. We want to thank you folks for listening to the show, your texts, your calls. We always appreciate it. We're back on Monday starting at 10 a.m. Hopefully my voice will be back. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio is coming up next, so stay tuned for that. For Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd, and Gabe Kuhn, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everybody.